there, ref. That's he got the ball. Good evening, Tottenham fans worldwide, and it is the big one tonight. It is the Carabao Cup semi-final, and as you can see, I am absolutely pumped. We're just 2 games away from getting out the bunting, the bucket hats, and the flags for the final, and we're just 3 games away from lifting our first piece of silverware from 2008. It's a big task tonight. We're playing against the best team in the country. However, the cup magic is true. Let's wait and see if it can ring true tonight. I'm absolutely buzzing. Welcome back to the Irish Hotspur, everybody. We're going to preview this game. Everything you need to know, tactics, team selection, stuff like that. So keep getting your comments in as we go along. We'll bring them up as we go along. Jack, how are you, sir? Pumped?
Buzzing intro, Dave. Pumped to be in a semi-final. I think that's what we even said in the Man United game. Just to get to a semi-final was going to feel so good. We're one step away from being at Wembley. We're one step away from even getting to that sort of elusive final that Spurs have long been in, and it would just be nice just to even give Liverpool a good game tonight, even let's say retain some sort of hope that in the second leg we could even push on for that final. We're just looking for a really good performance here today. Maybe we'll get some soldiers back for the second leg, which is actually really far away from now. So Dave, I am pumped for it. It's just good to be back in a semi-final. Last one was in 2022, which weirdly feels like a long time ago.
And look, it's just nice to take yourself away from the formalities of the league, the rigors of the league, how tough it's been in terms of performances. This cup has been our saving grace. We've knocked out Man City, Man United to get here. We've done it the hard way. So we have shown that we can turn up in the cup competition. So look, we hold out hope for tonight. Dharma, how are you, my man? Any sugar today? Too much sugar?
I am fucking I am buzzing. I am pumped. I am ready to go. Spurs are on the way to Wembley. I've got the album out from the attic, dusted it all down. A bit of Chaz and Dave, and we are going to do well tonight. This is a competition. We're ready. We've won 4 times: 71, 73, 99, and 2008. We've never lost at home in the League Cup tie when we played the League Cup at home first. We've never lost at home. It ain't going to happen tonight. We're going to win 4-0. We've beaten Man City 4-0. We've beaten Man City away. Let's not fear anyone. Let's get behind the team tonight. Let's make White Hart Lane a fortress. Let's make Bill Nick proud, Arthur Rowe proud, Steve Perriman proud, Graham Roberts proud. Let's get to that final and lift that fucking trophy and stick it up them asses. Come on, you Spurs.
Look, it'd just be nice to get that hoodoo off our back. It really would, and I think the longer it goes on, the longer it weighs on every manager, every coach, every player that comes in here. So hopefully we could turn up tonight. Soren, how are you keeping, sir?
All I can say is it's going. Look, it might only be a semi tonight. By the time we've whooped their asses, it'll be solid as a rock. Come on.
Oh, as you can see, everyone is absolutely pumped for this game. Oh, it's a big one tonight. We really don't want to falter tonight. We really don't want to be the laughing stock. Look, let's welcome some people in at home, giving them everything they need to know, and then let's crack on with the debate around this game tonight. We've got Danny Darko in the house. Oi, come on, you Spurs. Big up, lads and ladies. I'll let the Spurs go marching on. Big up, Danny Darko. Good to see you, sir. We also have Tekken in the house. I did get your email, my man. I'll respond to it after I finish up here tonight. He says, currently watching Tottenham's run to the 99 FA Cup final. We beat Liverpool and Man United on the way to winning that season. The Nelson and Iverson connection, maybe Kulu and Bergvall can repeat something similar this year. And I remember Stefan Iverson. He used to drive me mad at times, even as a young lad. Big up, Tekken. We've also got Adrian Schrock in the house. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. Terry Wright, great to see you as well. Good to see you, my man. We have Kaylee Davies in the house. Looking forward to a thrilling 2-2 draw. Look, I did see a lot of predictions before this game. A lot of people are predicting a draw. Let's wait and see. Big up Spurs Psycho in the house. Says still the greatest intro on YouTube. Come on, you Spurs. Really appreciate that, my man. Thank you very much. Scotty Hynam, good to see you, my man. Big up to all. Come on, you Spurs. Great to see you, Scotty. Hopefully you're keeping well. Spurs GCTV evening, gents. It's a cup game, so anything can happen. Hopefully something magical. Come on, you Spurs. Hopefully something we could do with something magical, especially after 6-3 pace that we took last month. We are Spurs TV. Let's go, Tottenham. Big up, my man. Good to see you in the house. We also have Wilson94. Big up, boys. Hope you're all keeping well. As we are at home for the first leg, want to see us take the game to Liverpool instead of this horseshoe football. Let's see some end product up top. Come on, you Spurs. Do you know what? Just on that, Wilson, we are going to have a debate around how we should approach this game tonight, because it is a two-legged game. You don't want to be out of it after the first leg. So, we will have conversations about, should we be maybe a bit more cautious, sit in, play on the counter like we did to Man City, or sort of, go for a little bit more and use the advantage of being at home. But also, look, this horseshoe football, it's not by design. It's due to limited quality in forward areas. When you got players that can't cross the ball, can't beat a man, that's why they keep turning backwards. And it's definitely not what they're being asked to do, for sure, Wilson. We also have Skunkworks in the house. I have looked at Mwani's reels. He is the one who missed the one-on-one versus Martinez in the World Cup final. Another bottler. Don't want him now, lol. Look, Mwani, from my understanding, he's a striker. Now all of a sudden everyone's telling me he's a left winger, and it's just sort of, I just wonder, are you making the same mistakes with what we've already got? Werner's a striker, purposed as a winger, can't do the job. Same to Johnson to a degree. I just worry, my man. We also have George Milton in the house. Good to see you, George boy. Hopefully you're keeping well. We have futures bright, futures lily white. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you. I can't say that, but come on, you Spurs. Big up, my man. Foggy Foam, good to see you. Good evening, everyone on the panel. Massive game ahead. Ange needs to learn from the game we played against them and adapt. Key midfield sort of outlook. The midfield is going to be absolutely crucial today. That's Liverpool's strong point. They're very techie in there, but they also get in there and work hard. We have to outwork them tonight, my man. We have Phil Coys in the house. It's that time again. Game day, baby. Come on, you effing Spurs. It is that time, Phil. Good to see you in the house, man. By the way, we need to get you back on at some point. It's been too long. Rabbi Jokinen, good to see you. Spurs 1, Liverpool 8, and Ange will be gone. Derek Hutchinson, great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. He's gone with a 3-3 tonight. Big up, my man. Good to see you. We also have Paul Connor in the house. Come on, you Spurs. As long as we get a win, it will result. Come on, you Spurs, semi-final, baby. Look, all we want is a result today, my man. Big up. We've got K32. Hello, Dave and Jack and everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Huge night tonight. Let's go, Spurs. It's a massive night. We have Jack Bloom in the house. Come on, you Spurs. Good to see you. Lost for Ange. Good evening, Dave, Jack, and chat. Hopefully lessons learned from the 6-3. Feeling quietly confident. Do you know what? I'm speaking to a lot of Spurs fans today, and they all seem to be a bit quietly confident. I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Stevie Pryor, true, but lost the last 3 finals we've been in. That's fair point to Dermot Stats. James Paratrooper, good to see you. 5-2 Spurs will demolish Liverpool. We also have Tequila in the house. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. Shawnee Brown, good to see you. We also have John Graham. Come on, you Spurs, going tonight. Support the boys, all you that are there. Don't get onto the lads if they make a bad move. Let's do this. Well, John, make sure you enjoy yourself. We are going to have a conversation around what sort of atmosphere to expect tonight, just because of what's going on around the club in terms of the mood around the football club, how important the 12th man could be tonight. And also, are we worried because we're seeing a common trend lately that we're not selling out games, and tickets are going on to third-party ticket exchanges, which means the club have no say where they're being marketed, and they're being sold to opposition fans, and opposition fans are sitting in the South Stand, which was purposely built to try and generate something like Borussia Dortmund. So something's not quite right there or quite adding up, and it does affect the atmosphere. John, let me know what your thoughts are on that, my man. Good to see you. Trinidad, Newcastle, Spurs, miracle final of trophyless teams. The one team that has had a far longer drought, 70 years than us. 2-1 win tonight and a nail-biter draw at Anfield. Nice one, panel. Look, let's wait and see, Trinidad. Good to see you. Ricky Nato as well. He says, I believe we can do this. Let's go. Mick Carmelot, good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. We also have Edem in the house. Did I walk in at the wrong time? Why? Let me know, my man. RST, good to see you. Just hope everyone has fun. Look, we all want a bit of fun. We want to win on the way, though. Fun's overrated if you're not winning. To me, winning is fun. Losing isn't. Lee Neri, big up Dave, Jack, and panel, and everyone in the chat. Spurs winning, coming as the perfect birthday present for my partner, Danny. Come on, you Spurs. Well, look, hopefully you and your partner get the right result tonight. Lee, good to see you in the house. Really appreciate support. Peter Kagast, does this guy ever sleep? He's always awake. Big up, Peter. Good to see you. 410 in Melbourne. Donovan Oosterreicher, great to see you as well, sir. Didn't realize you were about today, my man. Good to see you. Kiwi Spurs, big up, lads. Great to see you as well. Hopefully you're keeping well. And let's crack on. Make sure we're not missing anyone. We also have Diego Cruz. I believe Andrew's smart enough to learn from the heavy defeat and play like we did against City. Let's wait and see, Diego. We will have a debate about it. Jamie is in the house. Good afternoon, boys. Another great day in the life of a Spurs fan. Wouldn't it be so boring supporting anyone else? Straff and Joe. I mean, if you're winning every week, I suppose it'd probably be funner, wouldn't it? But, would you trade supporting Spurs for anything? I'm not quite so sure. Big up, Colin. Good to see you. Liverpool will be out for blood tonight, and they are questioned about their quality at the weekend. I agree. I think so. I think they will be out for blood today as well. We also have Dermot Run. Will Liverpool go strong and play the kids for Accrington? Yeah, of course they'll go strong tonight. If you've only got Accrington on the weekend, I don't expect why many people are expecting them to make a host of changes. I know they've done it in earlier rounds to today, but semi-final, I don't see it. Lee Moody, afternoon, gents. Not confident at all lately, but always hopeful. Come on, you Spurs. I think we're all in the same boat. Timmy Minter says we may win by 3 goals or lose by 1. Either way, we're going to have a goal. We definitely need to have a goal tonight. Lupercal, big up, lads. Come on, you Spurs. No confidence, but still got to back the boys. John Tucker says, big up, guys. Come on, you Spurs. Good to see you, John. Hopefully you're keeping well. And then we also have Matty Bynum in the house. Big up, Dave and Jack, watching with my son tonight before he heads back to uni. Praying. Come on, you Spurs. Well, look, first of all, the fact that you got your son to uni, you should be very proud of your parenting achievements, my man. You know, it's very hard to get kids to further education and stuff like that. So fair play to you. You must be doing something right. And hopefully you two can say goodbye for a few months on a win, my man. What a parent gift that would be. Big up, Matty. Good to see you and to your son as well. And then also big up Davey Power. Come on, the pool. That's my sister's husband or boyfriend, whatever you want to call him. Big Liverpool fan, so as you can see, I don't want to lose today. And big up, Nick. Great to see you in the house. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man, in New York. Hopefully you're not working and you do actually get to watch the game today. Well, look, let's crack on. Everything you need to know, of course, is being played at the greatest stadium in world football, and that is the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Where else can you fill up a glass from the bottom? Also, kickoff is at 8 p.m. tonight. Referee is Stuart Atwell in the VAR room. There is VAR, which wasn't in the previous rounds, and that is Paul Tierney. And by the way, they will be trialing, announcing the final decision in the stadium today for match day going fans. If you want to watch the game on TV in the UK and Ireland, it is on Sky Sports. In the USA, it's on Paramount Plus, and in Australia, it's on beIN Sports 3. Now, onto the injury list. I don't think anyone wants to see this, but Vicario, Van de Ven, Romero, Davies, Adogi, Dragson, Udeberg, Richarlison. Well, Richarlison is back training, but we're told he's going to be held off to the North London Derby. And then Maddison and Sarr, of course, suspended after picking up 2 yellow cards in the competition already. And Liverpool is without Gomez tonight. The only player missing is Bosley, facing a late sort of fitness test due to illness. So we'll see whether he makes or not. Hopefully he does not. So that is everything that everybody needs to know. Artist T in here. Big up, Artist T. Says there's likely going to be a bunch of Liverpool fans on the home end again. Concerning and embarrassing as I was typing this. You pointed that out. Guys, how do we feel about this just quickly? You know, we'll get everybody's opinion on it because you see with the Wolves game, you know, a lot of Wolves fans in there, the Liverpool game before Christmas, same thing. And, you know, when I grew up and you even look at the Galatasaray draw we got in Europa League, everyone goes, it's going to be tough just because of the atmosphere alone. And your home stadium is supposed to be a place where people fear coming to, you know, and it just doesn't seem like we've captured that in this new stadium. And now we're entering a period where tickets are being sold. I think there's 1,400 tickets up for sale tonight on a third-party website dotted all around the stadium. We're not selling out games. And now it just seems like, you know, what people's many concerns were, that it's just becoming an arena, a spectator arena for people to come to and not actually, you know, a fortress for us at home. Anyone have any strong thoughts on this?
It's a tough one for me because obviously living out in the sticks, I've sometimes had to go to watch Tottenham and be in the home end when we've played away, if that makes any sense. So, I've sneaked into the home end when Tottenham have played away. So it's hard to argue the fact, but I mean,
there's a difference though between, say, you sneaking in with your mates and, you know, 400 or 500 sitting in a purpose-built stand that was built to try and generate the atmosphere.
I mean, this is what I'm saying, though, that, you know, it's hard to argue when I've done it myself. But, I mean, if we're selling that many tickets to away fans, then it's... I mean, look, I remember going and watching Norwich versus Spurs. And obviously being a Spurs fan, I was in the Norwich home end and we scored. And I bet a good half the stand stood up and cheered. And they were all Tottenham fans with coats on, and then the coats came off. And instead of it being a sea of yellow, it was a sea of white. So it's a tough one, but you've kind of got to blame us as fans for not wanting to be there. Now, is it because we're priced out? Is it because of, you know, things like that? Or they don't want to watch the games anymore? I don't know, but it's sad that you can get tickets as an away fan in the home end of the team you're playing. So, you know, you've got to look at it as to, rather than saying it's wrong, ask why. Why are there that many tickets spare? That's the bigger question for me. Not is it right or wrong? It's why is there an availability?
Yeah.
I remember years ago going to Spurs, and if there was an overspill of tickets, you used to sell them on the day at the stand. Now you can't do that now, but that's what they used to do. So I don't know why there can't be some sort of way they can do that now. That people decide on the day, do you know what, I want to go to this game. They know there's going to be tickets available, so they don't go to this third party, and it doesn't go to away fans. Do you know, it's ridiculous. We've built a stand for us, not for away fans to stick in. But do you know, Soren's right. It is down to the fans. They're the ones that are giving up their tickets. We're being priced out. The ticket prices are too high. So the normal fan cannot go to the games anymore. Until they start bringing down ticket prices and start organising it better, we're going to have this problem again and again.
Is it down to ticket prices
football
clubs tonight? It's not really, is it? It's probably down to the climate around the club. People don't believe in Ange Postecoglou. They've lost faith in the team. You know, a lot of people are becoming disillusioned with the club. It's more to do with that, right, than actual prices of tickets tonight.
No, I think it's a bit of both. I think you've got to blame Sorry.
It's a semi-final. Who in the right mind as a Tottenham fan would not want to be in that stadium tonight?
Yeah.
That's the bigger question. You know, why are their fans not? Doesn't matter whether you're disillusioned with the team or the owners or what. It's a semi-final of a cup, which the whole of the Tottenham fans have been crying out for. We want to be in a final. We want to win a cup. And then all of a sudden, people are giving up that chance to be in that stadium. I mean, that's the question.
And it is, ticket prices should be looked at. It shouldn't be this, because it is getting expensive for the working, normal going fan.
Yeah, I agree.
For us going to Fib from Ireland, Dave, our tickets, you know, we've got to pay for flights and that, but our tickets are 50, 60, 70 euro, where it never used to be. It used to be 30, 40 euro. Clubs don't care about fans. Clubs care about money. That's all they care about. They all care about is getting the money in. If they got sold out, then that means more money for them. They don't care about the genuine working fan. And this is where we as fans have all got to stick together on this and get this down, get ticket prices down, because it's getting ridiculous that the normal football going fans being priced out going to games.
Look, I hear what you're saying, Darmon. It is becoming an increasing problem, but I don't think that's the problem for tonight's game. You know, it's a cup semi-final. That stadium should be packed out with Spurs fans.
Yeah, I agree with
you. The effort that went into that stadium, they put in special acoustics so that when Spurs fans sings, it reverberates everything back inside the stadium. They built a massive south stand to try and generate a bit like what Dortmund do at their stadium. And sadly, what we're seeing now is some away fans starting to fill up seats in that section, and it's just not good enough. Like, it's a cup semi-final today. First of all, it should be sold out, but I can understand if people want to put their money where their mouth is and not turn up today. But, you know, it just shows that the club is in a bit of a mess. It's a semi-final. It's not sold out. I mean, it's a bit of a weird situation, but everything we built that stadium to be, with this shit happening, it's just coming further and further away from what it was actually built to do and designed to do. This was built to be a fortress. You know, in that South Stand, having 20, 30,000 fans all singing, you know, for Tottenham Hotspur, and hopefully getting everybody else around the other two sides of the stadium, you know, involved. And what we're seeing now is it being very quiet and away fans sitting in there. It couldn't be any further away than what it was actually designed to do. And, you know, we wonder why our home form is dropping. We wonder why teams are coming here having an easy day when that's what's happening. And I don't blame the fans. I blame the club. Like you said, Dermo, even if them tickets are available, set up a stall outside the stadium for people that might just on a whim want to turn up, buy a ticket and go. Stop putting them on third-party websites where all they're doing is selling them to away fans and stuff. It's not good enough from this football club. Arts Tate could be a problem tonight. Let's wait and see, my man. Really appreciate the donation and the talking point. Let's welcome a few more people in and then we'll crack on with more. Big up artists. Dave says, don't turn your phone off tonight. You know exactly what's going to happen if we don't get the right sort of result tonight. You won't see me for about 3 weeks. We also have Alberto, big up. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. Long time no see. We also have Matic in the house. DJ Samuel, great to see you. NA, where do you get the confidence from after losing 6-3? To be honest with you, I'm not one that can sit there in a bowl of negativity. I understand the magnitude of the task today. However, come game day, I just park everything aside and become a little bit delusional. No explanation behind it. We also have Gisty as well. Good to see you, Spurs fan 1982. Great to see you, Ange Ball. Good to see you as well. Hopefully you're keeping well. Dante, I was at Spurs Juventus back in 2017-18 at Wembley.
Wow.
And there was loads of Juventus supporters there. It was almost as bad as the officiating that day. Stateside Footy also says it's always Guy from Seattle who was also happy clapping. Big up DJ Samuel as well. Really appreciate the support. Jack, what's the super sticker DJ sent in?
He sent in a goal, and what I like about it is that it's a nice little knee slide celebration as well.
Hopefully it's Dom Solanke tonight.
Yeah, maybe Dom Solanke. Is he a knee slider? Probably. He runs too much. You know,
well, he loves the bow and arrow, doesn't he? The archer.
You risk injury with the knee slide as well, so it has to be someone that you probably wouldn't be as worried about, you know, doing the knee slides. But Pedro Porro, big knee slider. I know DJ Samuel, you know, he's done a few knee slides after a big banger, but that's what we're looking for tonight is, you know, maybe second goal, you get 2 goals ahead. I think the knee slide is appropriate. You know, you go 2 goals ahead. So let's hope for that tonight.
Sonny scores.
He's got to do the trademark. I think he's probably almost contractually obliged to do the trademark celebration. Maybe he can do a knee slide afterwards.
Could be. Big up, DJ. Really appreciate
really
the support,
generous,
buddy. And hopefully life's going well for you now, my man. I know you hit a hard time there recently. Big up, Christy F as well. IrishHotspur, good to see you. Shem Tam in the building as well. And Paul Mansbridge and him I haven't seen for a while. Good to see you in the house. And Beyond 72, good to see you, sir. Hopefully you're keeping well. And then Strange Love the Doctor. Sounds like a TV series, to be quite honest with you. But, you know, good to see you in the house. RST says, Wolves game was bad. There was a weird energy and awkward after Hwang scored. Wolves fans outsang us the entire game. South Stand stank for 10 seconds, then silence. Every game, our fans are only loud over a bad ref. Guys, do you agree with this? Because when you look at the away fans, like often you can hear them over the commentary, over TV on games. The away support is immense. And look, I've been at the stadium at home when it's been absolutely rocking, but I've also been there when it's been sort of a below par sort of atmosphere. But do you also see the likes of return of the Chef Spurs song sheets? They've tried to actively work with the club to generate the atmosphere, to turn the stadium into what it's purposely built for. And they just keep getting battered away by the club. They keep coming out and saying there's no real effort on the club's behalf, you know, to sort of change this. Do the club really need to look at this situation for next season and get it sorted out?
Yeah, they do, because it's down to us fans to generate it. It's not down to the club. It's not down to Daniel Levy. It's not down to Ange Postecoglou. It's down to us fans. As I said, I remember going to White Hart Lane many of time, and that place rocking. It was rocking. This new stadium, there's something about it. I've said it before, and I say it again. It's got its soul missing. We went to the AC Milan, Dave, you and me, Jack. We all stood in the South Stand. And that the South Stand, a few of us tried to keep the atmosphere going, but it was a bad game and the atmosphere wasn't there. That stand doesn't generate the atmosphere it should do. And that's down to us as fans. We're the 12th man. We need to act as the 12th man. Doesn't care if we're playing against Wolves, Accrington Stanley, or the bloody North Pole 11. We need to still make the same atmosphere. White Hart Lane was rocking every game. It didn't care who went there, who was there. It didn't care if it was a non-league side to a freaking top Premier League side. That place was rocking, and I miss White Hart Lane. And to this day forward, I will never call that new stadium the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's White Hart Lane to me. It always will be.
We had this debate last time, though, Dermo, and I do feel like we have to remind ourselves that a lot of that around even AC Milan game, a lot of it has to do with form, and the fans go into the team, go into the game like any normal person would. If you feel like you have a team that's, let's say, not in a good bit of form right now, has been losing a lot of games, maybe even games that you would expect them to win, and then you're going into let's say, a big game that maybe could sort of be 50-50, and you're going into it more nervous than confident, there will be fans then that sort of walk in maybe a bit more silent than usual. They might walk in a bit more nervous than usual. They're not generating that positive atmosphere as you would like, and they should probably in their best interest try to do that. But it's hard. It's kind of human nature. Like when you're walking into a stadium to a team that's been losing a lot of games or just isn't in the form that you think, let's say, is really acceptable, you're not going to go into it with really, that sort of delusional positivity that maybe yourself or myself or Dave or Soren might. Everybody's different from each other. And I think this is a debate we had a while ago, but a lot of it has to do with Daniel Levy, of course. Like, he's made things much harder on fans, right? He's, distanced himself from those fan groups, like you said, Dave, that are trying actively to improve the atmosphere. They're doing really good things by that. But the fact that they've given up on Daniel Levy says a lot, about him, and just says how torn things are right now. And he absolutely bears a lot of responsibility for it. But the other half of it really is just about the up and down nature of Tottenham Hotspur, like sacking managers every 2 years, going up and down the league table. Sometimes we're qualifying in top 4. Other times, we're struggling to even, be in and around 7th or 8th. We just have no real hope of, going. This is the first time we've been in a semifinal since 2022. Like, it has been kind of, a little bit dismal, for Spurs fans. And so they have gone into games just up and down in terms of their positivity, or let's say nervousness. I don't necessarily blame them, but it's just how human nature is. We're a very up and down team, and with up and down performances comes up and down atmospheres. Times when you would expect them maybe to be really up for it, maybe they're not. And then times when they are up for it, great. But, I think we're not a team that is generating that winning culture that we would, expect it to be, this real tough place to go. We just haven't been able to make it a tough place to go because sadly we're a very up and down team.
But the club are a bit tone deaf as well. I don't think they get it. They're trying all these fancy gimmicks like the trumpet, a big drum in the stand and stuff like that. But, fans have asked them, stop playing this loud music right before kickoff. Allow the atmosphere to generate itself naturally. Give the designated singing sections. K32 put it in there saying Dortmund hire a guy to start chants and, engage with fans and get them to chant and stuff like that. This is what, people are trying to organize these singing sections, and they're just being push back at every opportunity. What we need is tifos, fans. The noise needs to come from the fans. Trying all these other sort of stupid things like the trumpet on top of the cockerill and stuff for North London Derby Day, it doesn't really do anything for the atmosphere at all. I think it actually just quells it, to be quite honest with you. I don't think it's good enough from the club. But Soren, look, how important is the fans tonight, that 12th man? Do you think they can make a difference behind the sort of players today? Do you think they can affect their performance with the right sort of atmosphere?
I don't think there's any question about it. I mean, the players always come out and say, we need the fans behind us. And look, one of the best games that we've seen at this stadium was that game against Arsenal. And the fans were absolutely electric that day. And you get that sort of atmosphere behind, and tonight is the sort of night we need that atmosphere. We need those players to believe those fans are behind them. And the problem is, look, we know the team is ravished and down to bare bones, but those players that are playing are not everyone obviously, but they're trying to give their all, and they just need those fans absolutely making it electric. And I mean, I know what it's like not that sort of stadium, but when you've got stood in those crowds and you've got everybody singing, and the hairs on your back stand up, and even as a fan, you think, Jesus, this is electric. So it's got to be even better for those players on the pitch. And tonight, for me, it really does need those fans singing, and it needs them to carry on singing. And if we lose a goal early on, we need those fans to keep it. They've got to pick the players up. And tonight it's a semi-final of a cup. We're going to be the underdogs. Let's not pretend that. But to me, we've as fans, we've got to go in there and pretend that we're playing Accrington Stanley, for argument's sake, that we're going to come out of there with a win. And that's the way we've got to believe it right till the end whistle. And I mean, for me, the fans are extremely important tonight. Extremely important.
100%. I couldn't agree more. I think the atmosphere at the United game was very good. Same at the Man City game. And hopefully we can sort of regenerate that today. I think it's very, very important, because I think if it is a flat atmosphere, I think, you all of a sudden give Liverpool that sort of confidence. You maybe drain our players a little bit. Maybe they're like, well, look, the fans aren't behind us and stuff like that. So I do think the atmosphere is very, very important today. When we go up to Anfield, it's going to be raucous. They're probably going to be in the stands half an hour beforehand, singing "You'll Never Walk Alone," and we will be affected by that atmosphere. We don't have the leaders or the characters to step up. We'll probably go there and be in awe, actually. So I would hope tonight we can sort of create a similar atmosphere with the Spurs go marching on, all them sort of great songs, maybe whip out a couple of cup songs. That'll be absolutely brilliant. Big up Paddy Harnick, good to see you, my man. Vandal as well, great to see you, and also the Owl lads in the building as well, good to see you, my dad. Hopefully you're keeping well. Let me know how you are. I'll text you. You're ignoring me. Let me know how you're feeling ahead of today's game. But Jack, let's start with you. Tottenham are just 3 matches away from their first piece of silverware since 2008. Considering the importance of this game, do you believe Spurs can rise to the occasion despite the recent run of poor form? Because I think that's Spurs' fans' big question today. Can we park what's happened in the league and turn up today?
I mean, we've done very well thus far, like in this cup. If you just look at it in isolation, we've gone past some very, very good teams. And also this Ange Postecoglou side, like as much as, yes, the form has been poor, we have done well against some of the bigger sides. I think that's been sometimes the difference maybe between Ange and, you could say, sometimes the past between Conte and Jose and whatnot. When we did come up against, let's say, the bigger teams, we did kind of crumble. We did get kind of outplayed and outclassed. Whereas with Ange, there have been plenty of games you could look towards where, yes, we have been outdone, but also we have given them either very good games or we have actually outclassed them. And there is that hope that, we can continue on, I guess, this very good run of performances in isolation in this cup. This cup is weird where you have, I guess, not really a real flow to it like you get with the Europa League, the Champions League, where it's kind of, in little spurts and you get to play game after game. Whereas here, it's kind of just huge distances between each of the set of fixtures. And so far, Spurs have done well randomly in each isolation of these fixtures. And let's hope that it just continues, Dave. But yeah, I think Ange Postecoglou has been able to show us that against bigger teams, every now and again, we do actually come out the gates really fast, like we do, score early goals and, then go on to maybe overwhelm teams. And I guess that's the hope today is that we know he's not going to change very much. We know he's not going to make any huge adaptations or anything like that. So you just got to imagine the best form of Ange Postecoglou and the best version of his football, which is usually a team that catches the other side, off the wrong foot, catches them a bit sleepy, and you put 1 or 2 past them pretty early in the first half and then go on to usually seal it in the second. And, sometimes that's come back to haunt us where we don't do one of those things. But that's my hope today is that we just get that very good version of Ange Postecoglou's style, which we have seen work as much as there are doubters of it. We have seen work against sometimes the bigger teams.
No, we have. Like you look at the cup this year, right? We've already done City in good fashion, done Man United in good fashion. So it's not beyond the realms of a possibility that we can show up today. And look, the cup often throws up a lot of magic, I remember when our last one, we won in 2008 under one day Ramos. He ended up getting sacked the following season. We were left in a relegation battle. League form wasn't too great that season either. So, hopefully, players expend everything, put everything out there today and realize, that getting to a Carabao Cup final will actually alleviate a lot of the pressure around them and stuff like that, and will actually generate the support they need for the future at Tottenham Hotspur. So it's a big game for them today and big game for Tottenham. Hopefully we can come out the right side. But Dermo, with not having won a major trophy in 2008, I was listening to you crow on before the game or before we started this, and then also when we started this about how confident you are today, which is, look, it's admirable, don't get me wrong. How do you think the players are going to cope with this pressure? Do you believe they have the mental toughness to secure a win in these crucial matches? Or will the club's history of falling short weigh on them like it has done to other players in the past at Tottenham Hotspur? And I'd argue players that have been better than what we've currently got.
I don't think it will. I don't think Ange would let them feel that. I think managers in the past have used that as a crutch or an excuse. Oh, we haven't won anything. I don't think Ange is like that. You, me, both know Ange is not like that for what we've seen from him at Celtic and some of the videos I've seen. These are the games he gets up for. These are the games that he would get these players up for. These players will be up for it tonight. If they're not up for it tonight, then they're in the wrong profession altogether. Look, I'm always confident Tottenham can win. I would never back my team to lose. Never have, never will. But I just think tonight, I just think our name's on the cup. I just think it is. I think the last time we beat Liverpool in the League Cup, we went all the way to the final in 2009, and we beat them 4-2. So who says we can't win 4-2 tonight and get a draw up at Anfield? Who says we can't do that?
Where does your confidence come from? Because, there's a lot of fans out there that'll be tuning in and going, Dermo, you're just being delusional. Like, you're ignoring all of our current form, some of the performances we've been putting in, the injuries that we have. So where does your confidence come from? I'm not having a go, by the way. I'm just genuinely asking.
My confidence come from, it's a cup game. It's a cup semi-final. That's where my confidence comes from. My confidence comes from, I know what this team can do. I know what Ange can do. As I said, I'll never back my team to lose. I'll always back my team to win. Call it delusional, call it whatever you want. But I will never, ever back my team to lose. I think we can win every game until I'm proven otherwise. And tonight, I don't care if we're playing Liverpool, Man United, Man City, or prime Barcelona or prime Real Madrid. I still think we can go out there and win and do a job. If you cannot get up for a game for supporting your club, then there's something very wrong. If you can't get up for a semi-final, then there's something very seriously wrong. We don't get to these very often. So let's get behind the teams. Let's get behind the boys. Let's support them all the way. And look, people can call me delusional all they want. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. If people think it bothers me, you are so wrong. Because it just pushes me on to be even more delusional and even more hyper and even more nutty, as you would like to call me. But I will never back against my team. Not to the day I back against my team is the day they put me 6 foot under in the ground. And that's the day I back against Tottenham.
Do you know what, Dermo? One thing you said there definitely rings true. Is like, some of the cup exits we suffered over the last few years, we've been pining for this. This is where we want to get to. Within sniffing distance of, lifting that trophy, you smelling armpits. That's where we want to be. And, that's just a reason enough to get up for tonight's game. Get your beers in the fridge, get your glass in the freezer, make sure it's nice and chill so you can have a nice cold beer tonight, and really get up behind the boys tonight. The Owl Lad says, I think we can draw tonight and beat them away when we get players back. It's a cup semi-final, for God's sake. Let's get behind the lads. Come on, you Spurs. Let's hope Postecoglou gets it right. I don't know where your confidence comes from winning at Anfield, by the way. I'm just used to being bet up there. I would hazard a guess. For me, I think it's got to be done tonight. We got to get a result, a win tonight, and go there and pray for a draw at Anfield. But look, I don't doubt you. I do tell everybody you are very knowledgeable when it comes to football. So let's wait and see how it pans out. And look, hopefully Postecoglou does get the team selection right. We've got a lot to talk about on that as well. We'll just take this from Artist T. He says, if we're going to do music, we need to do something like Hi-Ho, Aston Villa, Wolverhampton, way better than a stupid trumpet. I mean, look, if they want music suggestions, just come to me. White Stripes, Seven Nation Army, plenty.
How about AC/DC, Dave?
Yeah, AC/DC, I can give them plenty of tunes, to play for us, go for fans to get them up for the game and stuff like that. Artists. Definitely agree with that. Look, we just got to stop the stupid gimmicks, to be honest with you, Artist T, and they got to start working with these organizations that they're not getting paid to do. These people get up off their arse, do it off their own accord, and go around it all. And, the club just seem to have no sort of interest to engage with them properly and lay out a proper plan going forward. It's very sad to see, to be quite frank. But big up Artist Team, my man. Really appreciate the support, buddy. Good to see you in the house. Where are we at? So let's talk about tonight's game. Of course, Spurs are playing at home for the first leg of this two-legged tie. I want to know off the panel here tonight, and you guys at home, is this a must-win game for Spurs? And should they aim to capitalize on the home advantage, or would a draw be a satisfactory result heading into the second leg at Anfield? Guys, where are you at with this two-legged game? We'll talk about how we should approach it in a minute in terms of on the counter or all-out attack, and we'll get on to that. But just in general, do you think tonight's game should be the focus, or should we be looking to just salvage something and take it to Anfield?
I'll say this. Tonight is not a must-win. Tonight is a will win. Full stop.
I like that manifestation.
Bare minimum expectations where I wouldn't be that pissed off, I'd say, would be a draw, or we're only down by 1 goal, let's say, and then you still have something that you can hope for to go in the second leg. I feel the same way as you, Dave. I'm not really that confident of us getting a real strong result away from home at Anfield. So it does sort of then.
You down my dad?
I'm not with you. I'm not with him
messing.
on that. I'm not with him on that. I really don't feel like that's happening. And is it a must win though? No, but I think if you do get a convincing 2-goal margin win, I think you give yourself a very good opportunity to go to Anfield and maybe defend something. Not like we will try to defend, but you can hold on to something, make them nervous, still be able to, probably get away with even then, a 1-goal loss or something away from home at Anfield. So it'd be nice to win by 2 goals. I think that's the best case scenario. And if we get a win of any kind, that would be insane. I mean, I'd be happy clapping for a week. But yeah, Dave, it's kind of just about staying in it and not getting 6, thrown past us.
What gets me though, Jack, is these people that call
just retaining the
like
hope is really all
and
I
myself delusional. But I'd rather go into the match thinking we're going to win than coming out of it saying, "Oh, I told you we'd get thrashed." What's the point in supporting the team if you're not going to believe you can win? It just baffles me. It really does baffle me that why not? I mean, I'm with Dermo here. I'm as delusional as they come then, because I don't think we're ever going to lose a match. I mean, we're going unbeaten all season. We never do. But I'd rather go into a game thinking we're going to win it than going in thinking, oh, we're going to get thrashed today, just for the sake of being able to say at the end of the game, I told you, I was right. What's the point in being right all the time if you're going to be unhappy about being right? It's pointless to me. I'd rather be sat with Dermo, singing our hearts out, expecting we're going to win, and then walk out the end of it and say, well, yeah, we lost. So, never mind. We're going to win next game. We're always going to win the next game. So let's just for fucking once get behind the team and believe we're going to win it.
Well, apparently, Soren, it'd be you and 59,000 of me. So you will be outnumbered.
Fine, that's fine. I'd rather be in that crowd than the crowd of everybody stood around me saying, "Oh, we're going to get thrashed tonight. What's the point in even being here? What's the point in singing? What's the point in getting behind the team because we're going to get thrashed?" I'd rather not be with that crowd. I'd rather be with you, Dermo, singing our hearts out, waiting for us to score. And yeah, if at the end of the day we've got to go for a pint to drown our sorrows, what better way than being with a load of other delusional fans that think we can win? I just don't get it.
With Leighton Evelyn sitting in the middle of you all. And look, DB, I think this is exactly it. I've said for many a year now, the best part of any Spurs game is the expectation and hope you have before kickoff. Absolutely. I think that's what it's all about. Look, I don't see the point in going to games being pessimistic or we're going to be beaten here. Yeah, of course, it's always in the back of the mind. There's always that realism. But going to a game, as a fan, you're a fan of the club. You should always try and think, oh, maybe we can sneak one here today. Look, that's just my opinion. But Soren, today's game, are you going all out today, or are you looking to preserve and take it to Anfield?
No, I mean, to me, look, I don't want to go to Anfield with a draw or 1 goal behind. To me, we've got to go to Anfield with it basically finished. Look, I mean,
do you think we have to take advantage tonight? Then we have to go for it at home.
We've got to go for it tonight. But look, I mean, it's not the end of the world if we don't win 5-6-0 or we go with a 1-1 draw or whatever. But I would rather go there with half the job done than go there having to win them. I don't want to have to go there knowing we've got to score more goals because we're already a goal or 2 goals behind. If we go there and we're 2-0 down, it's going to be a really tough game. We've got to look at it tonight as though it's a one leg and just do it tonight. And the thing is, I mean, the question everybody's posing is Liverpool going to be a strong team tonight? I don't know personally, because I wonder whether they'll be that confident in being able to take it back to their place that they might not field a really strong team tonight.
Do you think the fact, though, that they're playing Accrington Stanley on the weekend probably means they will?
I don't know.
Because in the previous games, they have played Premier League opposition, but they have mixed it up a bit. But the fact that they've got Accrington Stanley on the weekend and could probably rest players then, I do think they probably will go strong tonight.
I mean, I think there's two ways to look at it. That they've got, in theory, a very easy game at the weekend, but they, you know, when it's over 2 legs and the second leg is for them at home, then I just wonder whether it's a time where they'll say, look, you know, let's go out there, let's not lose, but not necessarily a full first team. Then again, they might go the opposite way and say, right, let's get it done tonight. I just don't know. But for me, it doesn't matter who they put out because we have to go and win whichever team they put out.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're playing Liverpool. Don't matter what team they put out, it's going to be a strong team. So we go do it tonight. Like Dermo says, we're gonna win. Let's not, you know, I'd rather everybody come at me after the game saying what a plonky you are, telling us we're all going to win, than be sat here saying, well, at least I was right because we lost. No, we're going to win. The tie's going to be finished tonight. By the time 10 o'clock comes tonight, we're going to Wembley.
Well, look, that's the aim of the game, right? You know, I do agree with the panel. I do think we've got to try and head there with some sort of victory today. I think Anfield with the crowd, you know, look at the way we've turned up at some other sort of atmospheres. We didn't take to it too kindly. And, you know, I do think we've got to try and capitalise tonight. Look, even if we get out with a draw on a one-game basis at Anfield, anything can happen. It doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence, but at least we're still in it. What we can't do is take another 6-3 hiding and be completely out of it tonight. We've got to stay within touching distance and take it to that second leg at all costs. Faz Radfar 4-1 Spurs to Soren is spot on. And he also says a 4-1 win is not in question. Come on, you Spurs. Look, I'm a firm believer in manifestation. I think if you manifest positive things, I think positive things happen. Personally, Faz Radfar. And there's a book out about that, isn't there? Isn't that a bad book everyone was on a while ago, you know, about all that sort of stuff. But big up, Faz. Good to see you in the building. Are you at the stadium tonight? Let me know. M says was in the shop earlier, and when women at the till was handing change to me and money dropped, and she said, there's luck between us. I'm taking that as a sign for the universe that we're winning tonight. Well, look, hopefully, you know, lucky pennies, and that what they call that. But guys, what sort of tactical approach do you think we should take today? Because it is a two-legged affair, and we did suffer a heavy 6-3 defeat we suffered to Liverpool a month ago. We suffer that today. We're sort of out of it heading to Anfield. And look, let's be honest, that scoreline flattered us on the day. Could have been a hell of a lot worse. So how do you think Postecoglou will approach this game today? Because, you know, I know he sits there and says, I don't change, I play the same way every day. But when it's a two-legged sort of semi-final, it does alter your thinking a little bit in terms of, you know, what you can't do is just be out of it today. So what way do you think Postecoglou is going to approach this today, guys?
Isn't he kind of more of a, yes, he might make little tweaks positionally, perhaps, like where he might have a guy make runs or sort of position himself when we're building out, you know, in possession, he'll make like little tweaks. But I think where he probably makes the bigger, whatever you want to call it, tactical tweaks are kind of more with the personnel, right? You know, he knows that he gets different things with different players, and different players offer, you know, different strengths in the team. So you've kind of alluded to this in your, I think your predicted lineup, Dave, right? Where you went for Bissouma, right, in midfield versus perhaps like a Bergvall, whereas you get two very different things maybe tactically with Bergvall versus a Bissouma. With Bissouma, you get the opportunity to, you know, win more battles in midfield. If he plays alongside Bentancur, we can get stuck in. We can try to sort of block up some of the pathways or some of the channels that Liverpool will try to play through, you know, through the middle. They can try to get stuck in more in the wide areas because, you know, they both have a really, you know, kind of huge range of area that they can cover defensively. But with Bergvall, you offer yourself maybe better opportunities to try to break past, you know, Liverpool's defense, you know, break past their midfield, you know, a guy that can unlock them, a guy that has a bit more quality on the ball than someone like a Bissouma. You know, we saw he can switch play. He can play passes that maybe Bissouma wouldn't probably try to play. So you get two very different things, even tactically, just from personnel alone. And I don't know about you. I kind of think that's where Ange usually sort of makes more of his quote unquote tactical changes, is more with the personnel than it really is ever with, you know, switching, you know, the shape or anything like that. We've seen sometimes, you know, he'll have like Kulusevski, you know, draw really close to Johnson, you know, to help him out, you know, in possession, little things like that. But I think it's more personnel personally.
Interesting. Dermot, would you agree with Jack there? And, how do you think Tottenham should approach this today? You got some fans saying, look, you go and play the way we did at Anfield or, at the Tottenham Stadium before Christmas. We're going to get slapped up, the 2 legs done, and you've got other people saying, look, sit in, hit them on the counter. What way do you think Spurs should play today?
I agree with Jack. I mean, I was going to say attack. But no, that's just been definitely off my rocker. No, I agree with Jack. I think he's got to change tactically. Maybe go the same way we played against Man City away. I know somebody put it in the chat, but that might be a good way to go. And we absolutely hammered Man City that day. Look, I think whatever Ange, he's got to stick to his principles. He's got to stick to his philosophy, but he's got to tweak it a little bit. If you come in with a philosophy, you shouldn't be made to change how you think or how you do things. You shouldn't be. That goes in life as well. You should never change who you are and make other people change who you are. And I think you can tweak stuff. You can probably tweak it a little bit, probably move positions a little bit, maybe just tactically change things a little bit. But I don't think you should go too far for how he is and what he is. And just because we lost 6-3 in the league doesn't mean it's going to happen tonight. I just think we're set up the same way we did against Man City, and we beat them 4-0, and I think we've got a chance. But I'm really with Ange that he shouldn't change his philosophy too much. Just tweak it here and there. That needs tweaking. That needs a little bit of changing. And I would start, in my particular lineup, I started Bergvall in the 10 and put Kulu in the midfield with Bissouma. And then, on the wings, you're stuck with Johnson and Sonny. I wouldn't even have Werner in the squad, to be fair. I would have Mikey Moore. I even thought of throwing in Mikey Moore on the left. But for me, just do what Ange does best. He's the manager. He knows what he's doing. And we in Ange we trust. But tweak it a little bit, but don't go away from your philosophy. Don't change it for the sake of change it. It doesn't work like that.
I think the biggest thing he needs to do today is probably go with the double pivot. I don't think we can get away with a 6 and 8 and a 10 or a 6 and 2 8s, whatever way you want to dish it out. I think he's got to go double pivot, and then one number 10. I think that would be the best option. Give us a bit more defensive solidity. But Soren, do you not think we're entering a dangerous game going to play Liverpool's game against them? Try and outscore them because they've got a better attack than we do. They've got a better midfield than we do, and they've got a better defense than we do. So are we not playing with fire tonight by going and doing that?
Yeah. Look, I know a lot of people disagree with this, but we just need to go there and play our own game. And if that means we attack them, that means we attack them. I think...
Play the game that you know.
Yeah, don't think tonight is the night where we suddenly change all our tactics because it's just creating problems. The players don't know whether they're coming and going. Look, if we're getting absolutely battered, then we've got to change something because we've got to stay in the game somehow. Yeah. But I don't know. To me, I just see it by the 33rd minute, we're 4-0 up, and then we play that, we'll play the counter-attacking game then and win 6-0. I think we need a 6-0 lead to go into Anfield to make sure we go through probably 6-5 on aggregate then. But no, look, yeah, to me, we've just got to play the game. A lot does depend on who he plays and on what positions to play. I think he will try and, well, I suppose it depends who's fit done it, but I think Kulu's going to start on the wing for me, and then Bergvall is going to start in the middle. So we've got to get that midfield as strong as we possibly can and hold firm in that midfield, and let Spence have man of the match again, and Sonny's going to score a hat trick.
If I were to, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was going to say, if I were to maybe offer just one sort of, maybe just slight, again, just tweak, not even, if anything, like shape-wise. But we know that Solanke is a physical striker. if he does try to just sort of occupy the attention just by, ramming into Konate or Van Dijk and just getting their attention, and if you give Sonny maybe that sort of space to try to cut inside a bit more, I do wonder if that could cause some havoc to that team. Whereas Sonny, we know he just seems like he's a little bit reluctant at times to make runs in behind, always, hugging the touchline. He likes to be a bit more creative. He likes to sort of play 1-2s and then sort of drift into that sort of central space and then work from there. And if I wonder if you get sort of Solanke, Dave, to just sort of, kind of occupy the attention of Van Dijk, occupy the attention of Konate, and if he's one-on-one with Trent or one-on-one with, I always forget his name, but is it Roberts or what's his name? The
Robertson is left back, or it could be what's that other young Northern Irish guy? He could be playing right back tonight.
Yeah, it's him or Trent, right? I always get his name wrong, and I always seem to forget it in the crucial moment. But if it's one-on-one with Sonny and him, I do think that's a good opportunity there. I don't really give Johnson much of a chance to try that, to drift inside. But if we allow Sonny to drift inside, it would be something a bit different than what we usually do, and maybe it could cause some problems. And also, Sonny and Kulusevski sort of working together through that central kind of area could benefit.
I understand what you're saying, but I look at United who went to Anfield and got a result at the weekend. 60% of their attacks went down Trent's side, and he ended up getting a result out of it. Even the equaliser or the goal for 2-2, it came from Garnacho down that side, pulling it across for Giallo. I do think that is the area we need to exploit today, like Gary O'Neill done his homework on Tottenham and everyone else is sort of rinse and repeat that blueprint. We need to take Amram's homework against Liverpool and go and attack down that side. And that's where I think Sonny needs a massive game today. But we're going to get on to him in just a moment. We've got this from Brian Dempsey, member for 28 months. Really appreciate the longevity of the support, Brian. My dad's name is Brian, so it is a name of great men. Hopefully you're keeping well. Sorry, he says, hey, Dave and Jack, great to see you guys. It's been a while. It has, my man. How's life been treating you? He says, big up, Soren and Dermo. I'm giving you a Belfast promise. We win tonight, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Well, look, as long as we don't get a Glasgow kiss from Liverpool, that's the main thing, Brian Dempsey. But good to see you, and hopefully life has been treating you well, my man. Really appreciate the longevity of the support, Brian. Absolute legend. And then Jack Dermo has gifted out 2 channel memberships, yes. And Peter Kagayas has also gifted out 1. Really appreciate the generosity, boys. Very, very kind of you. Who's the lucky recipients?
Herbie Hurts Feelings, great name. And also the Spurs bench, also not a bad name either. Really appreciate it, Dermatron. And also Peter Kagayas has gifted out 1 to Guna.
Okay, fair play. Not sure why they're a fan of this channel and stuff like that, but fair play if they are an Arsenal fan.
And about 400 in the house, it looks like, and 100 likes. So about 25% of people have hit it. I'd like to think maybe a bit more than that have been enjoying the stream. So if you have been, feel free to smash it. But thank you very much, Dermot. Very kind of you. Come on the fan shows, everybody. Last time it was a little slow. So take advantage. Better time to take advantage. For some reason, maybe it's just New Year. Busy people are busy, but yeah, it was a little bit slow on the back end. Could have been nice to see a debut or two.
Well, look, I think people are just getting back from Christmas and that, Jack.
Sure.
You got to give them a chance.
Being harsh.
Guys, really appreciate the support. And look, everybody else watching at home, the only thing we ask is a like button. But what you get out of it, put in your comments, put in your questions. I'll keep an eye on them. Jack will keep an eye on the comments. We'll start them and we will bring them up to the panel if you want them answered. So, keep getting them in the chat and we will get on to that. I think Peter's gifted out another one. Peter's gone rogue. He's gone mad. He wants to equal
to Lily White's India.
2-2 with Thermo. Big up, Peter. Fair play to you. Very, very kind of you, my man. But guys, let's start getting into talking about some team selection. I think that's what everyone's here for, right? Let's stop delaying it. Let's get into it. Look, Postecoglou has a massive sort of decision to make for this game tonight regarding the goalkeeper position. He has 3 options. He's got Fraser Forster, who brings the most experience. And he's also returned to training from illness. Brandon Austin, who was named man of the match on his debut, or new signing, Antonin Kinsky, the new signing who was brought in to challenge Vicario and has already joined training and been given his work permit. So we'll go around the house and we'll start with you, Soren. Which goalkeeper would you prefer to see start tonight and why?
Full stop. I think he didn't do anything wrong really at the weekend. And to me, I think it's too soon for the new one, Kinsky. But I would have him on the bench and not even have Forster on the bench. So tonight, purely, I don't know. I just think he did well, and
You're not taking a risk with Brandon Austin, though. He's the least experienced out of
Are you
Fraser
taking
and
a risk?
Kinsky.
Yeah,
And is Brandon Austin already better than Fraser Forster in your eyes?
I would rather have Fraser. I would rather have Austin because he will have a little bit of confidence after the weekend. And if we put Kinsky in there, he doesn't know the team, he doesn't know the players, and I just think tonight is not the night to give him his debut. And Forster, look, he has no confidence whatsoever at the moment, and I just think with Austin didn't do anything wrong. You know, he did some decent saves. He was decent with his feet. And to me, he gets another chance. Why not? And I think he's earned it. Forster, I just don't look. He's done well for us in the last few since he's had to come in. He's not done bad. He's done better than a lot of us thought he would. But I just don't want to see him in the goals for us again. He's great shot stopper, and look, if it's a one-off game, fair enough. But he's too slow with his feet, and his confidence is shot. To me, we've got to show a little bit of confidence in Austin. We've given him a 5-year contract. He made his debut, and it was, he's waited a long time, and he played well. He did well. So to me, there's no question. It's got to be Austin in the goals and Kinsky on the bench, and let him see what it's about. We don't know how he's going to react. He's going to be sat behind a makeshift back four anyway. So tonight is not the night for me to put him in. You've got to keep some.
But do you know the way you say Kinsky doesn't know the players and Austin does? Well, Austin only played one game. I get that he trains with them.
He's been at the club though, but he knows these players. He's trained with them for years.
He's best friends with all them. He's the club hype
guy. There is still an understanding there, and I'm not saying Kinsky. If he starts, then you get behind him. I'm not saying he shouldn't start. But for me, I just think Austin's. He came in at the weekend. He didn't really put a foot wrong. So why not trust him? Why not give him that chance? Because look, if at the end of this season, Forster's probably going to go, Austin's probably going to be third choice anyway. So why not show him that we do have a little bit of confidence in him? If he puts Kinsky straight into the team now, then Austin might as well just go. For me, there's no point in being here because you've given him that contract. And I mean, look, it was a bad enough announcing on the bloody
opportunities to leave, I think.
Yeah, I just don't see why he shouldn't start. He's done nothing wrong, and he was decent aerially. He didn't do much wrong. Feet wise, he was good. So to me, there isn't a question. You start Austin, full stop.
Well, I think. Look, there's definitely an argument to be made. He's very good coming from corner kicks, crosses into the box. He was very assured of himself, and with Liverpool, they are going to throw a lot of crosses into the box. Fraser Forster, at times, when you're looking at him, didn't know whether to come or go. So there is that argument to your point. But I've got a couple of comments to throw back at your way here, Sarin. Just let me know what your thoughts are. Neil G says Kinsky doesn't need to know the team or players. He's goalkeeper. Just stop the ball going in the net. And then there's one more here where Tyler says, so you want to give charity minutes in a cup semi-final?
Is it? I mean, what did he do wrong at the weekend? Explain to me what, he came in, he did the job at the weekend. What did he do wrong? Why? As fans, we always go on about, well, players, if they come in and do a good job, they need to, know that they're going to play again. Or else they're not going to do the best. So he came in at the weekend. He did well. Why not give him another chance? Why should he be dropped after coming in? I just don't get that philosophy now.
I think many people's sort of, opinion would be, well, if they've spent money on this Kinsky guy and his job is to come in and challenge Vicario long term, that then they should put their money where the mouth is and put him in there. And the fact that they've accelerated, they feel like this kid is probably coming into play.
I mean, look, it's one of those that if you listen to the rumours that we've been watching and we were going to bring him in the summer. Well, if we were going to bring him in the summer, that kind of tells you that they're not that confident in the fact that he's ready now. And we brought him in because we need to bring him in now. So to me, I just think it's a big. I mean, it's a big step for any goalkeeper coming in. But Austin's sat on that bench. He knows the stadium. He knows the pitch. He knows the players. For me, you just start with Austin because he's kind of it's not going to be a massive factor for him. Kinsky coming in, it's like, you know, you bring in a brand new defender and you play him on day one. He's only been with the club a few days. He hasn't been with us for that long. Yes, he's had a few training and he might come in and he might be brilliant. And, you know, if Kinsky's the starting goalie tonight, I am not bothered. I'm quite happy. But to me, you ask the question, do we start Austin? Does he deserve to start? And for me, yes, he deserves to start. It's not charity. He's been given a 5-year contract with Tottenham Hotspur as a backup goalkeeper. So our first
not as the backup goalkeeper.
Pardon?
Not as the backup goalkeeper. He's not been given a 5-year contract to be the backup goalkeeper.
Well, he's not been given a 5-year contract to be the starting goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's to be the third choice goalkeeper.
That's still a backup, though, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. I'm, you know, to me, you've either got
Kinsky though, but Kinsky's been brought in to be the backup.
Right. All right. Then, so third choice. Then, if we want to get really technical, I'm just saying that while Vicario's out, he is the backup goalkeeper. So, you know, but you know, Forster's out. We don't. I mean, what's going to happen then if we start Kinsky and he has an absolute howler tonight?
I mean, you play that risk
have
with
a howler. I get that, but look, we've all got opinions, and for me, we start Austin. I don't think he's done anything wrong, and to say that he shouldn't start.
I think the inverse argument could be made with Austin. What if you start Austin tonight and he has a howler, and then you knew that you probably left a better goalkeeper on the bench in Kinsky? And the thing is with Kinsky is that he's already played in more high profile, more intense, more experience. He's already had more experience at 21 than Austin has in his entire lifetime. You know,
yeah, but then the argument could be that we haven't given Austin a chance. We gave him a chance at the weekend, and he didn't fluff his lines.
But he's not good enough. There's under multiple managers, he's never been good enough. So, like, there's a reason he has.
But he was good. But he was good enough at the weekend.
Yeah, and I think that can happen. You know, I think if you're not tested too much and if you're not asked to do too much on the day, I think he did quite well from the set pieces. Like people have brought up, but he wasn't asked to make a world-class save. He wasn't asked to be a sweeper keeper at any moment. He wasn't really asked to do any really difficult things, you know, in possession. In this game, he might be asked to do one of those things. And who's to say he'll do well? Who's to say he won't make a mistake that a third choice goalkeeper would make?
But the argument is then, if we have no faith in this goalkeeper, why give him a 5-year contract?
Because he's a homegrown pawn. He's a club-trained homegrown pawn, and he knows that.
And he does do a lot for the players on the training ground. Like if there's any extra finishing work to do, he's out there.
So we're just going to have him sat there, and then one day when we actually need him, he's going to come in with again no more experience and coming off the blue. Well. He's coming.
Scott Carson does the same thing for Man City. I think Brandon Austin's just a more handsome version of it.
The point is, so he came in a big game at the weekend. What did he do wrong? What did he do to say he doesn't deserve another start?
I think they bring in Kinsky for a reason, though. They don't just pull the trigger on Kinsky if he's not being brought in to probably start straight away and to be the guy to challenge Vicario, perhaps even for a first choice spot. I don't think Kinsky's coming in to sit on the bench, you know, behind Brandon Austin. And there's probably a reason that he's been brought in even for this week, and that's probably to play this game.
And I mean, look, it's like I've said, it doesn't bother me which one starts, but for me, I just don't think he's done anything wrong to say he shouldn't start.
Do you know what? Look, when you look at Brandon Austin's performance and what many people are actually expecting, I think he done a lot better than what people are expecting. And I agree with you, Sharon. I don't think he done too much wrong not to warrant a start today, but I do take, you know, the point that why would we accelerate the signing of this 21-year-old goalkeeper if they had faith in the options that were currently available until Vicario comes back? And I think they've looked at it and said, we've got some big league games coming up. You know, we've got relegation fodder that we need to beat to stave off the relegation battle. We've got Arsenal coming up. We've got all of our cup games. And I just wonder, have they accelerated that to get him in here to come in and play now? Because one of his biggest assets is him playing out the back with his feet. You know, he can take the ball off them centre-backs and stuff. And I just wonder, is that maybe why they've brought him in here? Look, it's an open debate, right? You know, that's the fascinating thing about it. Soren sees it one way, Jack sees it the other. Darmo, where are you at? Who do you think should play tonight then?
Kinsky. He should start all day long. I think I agree with Jack what he says. Jack actually stole my thunder a little bit. Not disrespecting you, Jack. I'm just saying you stole my thunder, but a lot what you said.
You
I
could
was
have
going
popped
to
in
say.
there any time.
Yeah, but I didn't want to be rude. I was enjoying the banter between Jack and Soren, really. I was just sitting back eating my popcorn. It was great crack. Look, for me, Brandon Austin didn't do anything wrong on Saturday, but why is it taking him 9 years to make his debut when there was plenty of other opportunities to use him? We didn't. Why did we not use him when Vicario got ill? We went straight to Fraser Foster. Why did we not use him then if he was going to be the next best thing? Why did we not use Josh Keeley, who I think is going to be an exceptional goalkeeper, and Gunter as well? I think there's your probably next load of group of goalkeepers coming through. I mean, I remember Eric Torsvett making his debut for Tottenham, and he made 2 absolute howlers live on TV, by the way. And didn't he come in to be a decent goalkeeper? And he was from Norway, and not a lot of people heard of Eric Torsvett at the time. So, where I think we've brought this kid in for a reason. We've accelerated this for a reason. It isn't for him to sit on the bench. It's for him to come and start. He's good with his feet. His stats are remarkable for a young 21-year-old. He has. I know he's only played half a season, but he's played in the Champions League. He's played in the Europa League. He's played in the Czech League, which isn't a bad league, by the way. Everyone can dish the Czech League unlike the Scottish League. It's a very hard league, very hostile league, the Czech League.
It's completely different though, to the Premier League.
I know it's different. I know it's different from the Premier League, but you got to look at it. It is competitive, somewhat. It's not every league's like the Premier League, but Scotland, the Scottish League is sort of competitive. Every league's competitive. You still got to do the same things. Your job as a goalkeeper is to stop the other team scoring. Some of his work, he's very quick thinking with his arms, his legs, his feet. Some of the goals he's created, that one goal, he kicked it up the field to the left winger. He chucked it in and they scored. It was like bang, bang, bang. Look, Brandon Austin for me has done nothing wrong, but I just think they've brought this kid in for a reason. And Brandon Austin, for me, he's going to be a 3rd or 4th choice goalkeeper. He's quite happy doing that. He's quite happy just collecting his wages every week. And if he was any good, why did we not use him over the last 9 years? I mean, if he was any good, he should have been there and thereabouts. And I just think Josh Keeley coming through, Gunter, this young goalkeeper. I don't think Vicario is going to be around very long. He'll be gone in a few years, I think. And then we've got the next generation coming through. And I really hope Josh Keeley makes it, because I think he's an exceptional goalkeeper, in my view.
Well, look, I think he's kept, 10 out of 14 or 18 clean sheets or something like that. You know, he's having a phenomenal time out on Leyton Orient. Look, I think Kinsky tonight, me personally, again, I would probably start him tonight. I think put your money where your mouth is. You know, he's got European experience. Don't get me wrong. It's a big game tonight, but I would judging by his interview and what I've read from so-called experts on the Czech League, you know, his mentality is his biggest attribute. You know, I think that could come and play tonight. But look, you know, there are a lot of people out there that would say you can't just throw a young 21-year-old straight in from the Czech League into a game of this magnitude. And, you know, also when you look at Brandon Austin, you know, it can be the case where, look, it's clear he's 3rd choice goalkeeper, as he would have been starting ahead of Fraser Forrester in Europa League and stuff like that. But I don't think he's done himself any harm at that Newcastle game. And maybe he has made people inside the club maybe think a little bit differently on him and stuff like that. And look, you know, to Soren's point, you've seen all the congratulations he got off past and present Spurs players. He's very liked in and around the club. And will Postecoglou maybe sort of veer towards that tonight? It's hard to know. But personally, I would take the risk on Kinsky. But you know, Brandon Austin certainly didn't do themselves any favors. And, you know, the fact that we're even having this debate now is credit to the guy and the performance he actually put in against Newcastle, to be fair to the guy. So, look, guys, I think the majority of the chat say they want to see Kinsky tonight. Let's wait and see what happens, guys. Also, just a quick one on the back line, guys. Reguilon played really well in the second half against Newcastle, with Jed Spence going in at centre-back instead of Radu Dragusin, who had an absolute mare against Liverpool in the 6-3. I would argue we looked a little bit more solid defensively once we made that change. Would anyone here on the panel consider the same again tonight? Or do you think Radu Dragusin walked straight back into the lineup after returning from illness?
That's a toughie.
I argue Radu's got to start. And I would play Spence at left back. As much as I think Reguilon did have a good game, and I've liked Reguilon since the day he came to the club. But for me, tonight is probably a night you play Jed Spence over there, and you play Radu, Ray, and Porro. But yeah, I think, you know, I think it's not a night for Reguilon tonight. Maybe come on, but to me, Spence start.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with Soren. I can't think anything less. Look, don't get me wrong. The back four played very well in that second half against Newcastle. Don't get me wrong, they did. And I thought Spence did very well. I thought Reguilon did very well. And I like Reguilon. I'm with Soren. I do like him. And I wish they would not let him go, because I think he's a good backup to have. I rarely do. I think it'd be foolish to let him go. And I think if he can accept that as his backup and he's quite happy with that, then sign him up for another year. Just keep it as a rolling year contract sort of thing. But yeah, you have to start Dragosin tonight unless he's ill. And if he's still not better, then you're going to have to go with the second half team against Newcastle. But I thought that second half defense, they were brilliant. Every one of them. And can I just give Archie Gray and Jed Spence deserve a special mention? They have been exceptional. Archie Gray is an 18-year-old lad, not centre-back, is not his position, has been absolutely exceptional. And Jed Spence, what a redemption. What a comeback from the lad. We all slagged him off. We all questioned his mentality, and it's rightly so we question his mentality because of what happened on the Conte and all that. But he's come back on the ranch, and he's come back a new man. And I just want to say fair play to the pair of them. I think they deserve every bit of congratulations.
We say about that, and we say about Spence and, you know, how he's come back. Should there not be more questions asked about Conte and the way he treated Spence? Because he's not my player, I'm not going to play him. I mean, that is pathetic from a manager. Come out and tell us that he's not your player, but to actually throw somebody out like that, there's no wonder the kid didn't want to play for the club. You know, I think when we look at them, I think there should be more questions asked about Conte than there should be about Jed Spence. And like you say, what a great performance coming back and showing that he can play football. Absolutely brilliant.
He showed it in pre-season. Sorry, Dave.
No, you're absolutely spot on. Look, I think, you know, Jed Spence character has been absolutely amazing. The adversity that this guy's been through, you know, a dream move taken away from him before he's even stepped foot, you know, on the training pitch, you know, shipped out on loan, looked like his career was dead, sat around, waited patiently. And what I love most about it is, you know, I've heard excuses for players in years gone by, like Winks. Dave, you can't expect him just to come in and play well. It's unrealistic. You got to give him 10 games to get up to speed. I'm like, yeah, well, that's a third of the season, so that definitely ain't happening. But, you know, you look at Jed Spence, and I've always said, no, a player that's hungry, has been sitting on the game, watching the bench, from the bench, and realizes he can come in and make an impact and knows where. And Jed Spence done that. Within 10 seconds, he got the ball, turned where others would have went backwards, played Madison in, you know. And for me, that's a guy that wants to be here. He's hungry. He wants to get his back on track. And you know what? Thomas Tuchel was watching that game at the weekend. I hope he was watching Jed Spence, and I hope he propels him into that England squad, because if anyone deserves it, it's him. I think he is a quality fullback. You know, people laughed at me when I said it when we first signed him, but I think he's got all the right attributes, and I think he's got to play left back tonight. He's got to go up against Mo Salah. I know it sounds ridiculous because Mo Salah scored and assisted against us in that 6-3. But for large parts of that game, he nullified Mo Salah's, you know, threat or input into that game. Radu Dragosin will walk back in at centre-back tonight. He's got to be so much better than he was against Liverpool, though, in that 6-3. One thing I keep noticing Radu Dragosin is he keeps jumping out of position. He's leaving Archie Gray completely exposed, and he's leaving so much space for players to play the ball in behind him. He's got to learn to keep that line. He's got to show a bit more composure in that back four. He keeps jumping out, and it cannot continue to happen. If he does that again tonight, I went back and watched the 6-3. I watched the highlights. and the space down the middle and the exposure that, how exposed Archie Gray was is just not right, and it's not acceptable. Now, obviously, we'll get in and talk about the midfield, because having more options in midfield might actually not leave as much of a gap down the middle as there was. So let's get into that, guys. Let's talk about the midfield options today, because, look, Rodrigo's Bentancur is back, which I do want to speak about in a minute about him. But Papa Matsar is suspended for today's game along with James Maddison, which frees up a midfield spot. And I think the biggest debate sort of heading into this game today, from what I've seen across socials and YouTube and stuff like that, is who should come in and take that one spot in the midfield. Because I think everyone's expecting Bentancur and Kulusevski to play, the other two spots. Bissouma, who was rested against Newcastle, and you would wonder, is that due to him starting today and keeping him fresh? Or Bergvall, who substituted off early against Newcastle, despite the performance he put in. And I actually see a lot of people sort of siding towards the Bergvall side of the argument. I think a lot of people are done with Bissouma. I would rather see him. So I want to go around the panel again and find out who you would select and the reasons behind it.
Sorry, I've gone first plenty of time. Okay, I can go first again, selfishly. I would say I've been persuaded by you, Dave, on Bissouma, because of the need to win the battles in midfield. I'm kind of a person that does believe in that. I do think it is kind of about setting the tone defensively, making sure that we're not too easy to just play passes through, block up the channels, try to get, a good win, maybe a bit higher up the pitch, with Bentancur or Bissouma maybe venturing a bit far up, and see if he can get lucky, try to pick someone's pocket and, sort of set the tone early, get a nice early goal from maybe some good defensive play. Whereas with Bergvall, I just think he's more the future of this team than really Bissouma is. Bissouma is just kind of starting to piss me off a bit, as a spectator. He's just a guy that annoys me at times when it comes to just his manner in which he plays. I actually really like the guy as a person. Seems like a really good person to be around. I kind of like his sort of general mentality. But when it comes to football, he does kind of tend to sort of annoy me with that lackadaisical approach at times, where he will try to take 2, 3, 4 extra touches when it's just completely unnecessary, or he will have a really loose touch at times when you really can't have a loose touch. Or he also, as well, when there's maybe that switch of play that's on, he doesn't go for it. He'd rather just sort of play maybe the easier sort of sideways pass and then expect someone to do it for him. And with Bissouma, he's much, much better than Bergvall is defensively. He can get stuck in, but also he could also give away a penalty tonight. He's one of those guys as well. He could give away a red card. He's just a very mystery type player. He's a guy that you just don't know what you're going to get on the evening. You can get a top level performance, but you can also get one that ends up costing you the game. And that's where I am at with Bissouma. So I'd rather, to be honest, maybe thinking about the future, go with someone like Bergvall, who I think is more the future of that midfield. But Dave, I kind of agree with your thinking, for tonight only, winning a game in 90 minutes. If Bissouma does have a good game defensively and is good in possession tonight, we probably benefit from that more than someone like Bergvall.
Look, that's just my thinking behind it. Look, I could be completely wrong. Postecoglou is all about possession-based, and he might prefer Bergvall in that instance. But I just think, with playing the best team in the country, who are very good, they kept possession a lot against us in that 6-3. I think first and foremost, before you even dream about keeping possession, I think you've got to earn the right to be in possession. I just think Bissouma gives you more in that regard. But, the problem you've got with Bissouma is, on the other end, in possession, he causes you a lot of problems. He can make similar mistakes like Bergvall did, for instance, against Newcastle. And the reason why I say mistake to Bergvall is because if you go back and look at that goal, yes, it was handball all day long, but he had an easy pass to Kulusevski right in front of him, and he didn't take it. He tried to take the harder pass, and I just think you get punished if you do that tonight. And I just think 18-year-old, we tried him out in Galatasaray. It was men against boys. Could we get into that situation today? I mean, Soren, where are you at with the midfield? Who should step in tonight? Bissouma or Bergvall? Because I do take the argument Bergvall has probably earned it. Since that game out in Galatasaray, steadily, he has become a better player. He's shown that he can adapt into that midfield and that he can last in that midfield. So what would be your preferred option?
My midfield three would be Bergvall, Bissouma and Bentancur, and then Kulu on the wing.
Why?
Drop Johnson.
Do you know what? Because Johnny was on Devil's Advocate with Sean earlier on, and Johnny sort of gave the same lineup. I just don't see Postecoglou picking it. What do you think is behind it, Soren?
Well, the reason I'm going Kulu on the right, and I know a lot of people keep telling me that he's in you know, he doesn't do very good, but he covers that right side with Porro, and it allows them both to sort of interact a little bit. And then if you've got Bissouma and Bentancur in the middle, it allows Bergvall just to you know, to try and push forward a little bit, and it just gives you that little bit more stability. You've got, instead of having 3 strong players, you've got 4. You've got Kulu on, and for me, if Kulu doesn't start on the right, then Brennan Johnson does, and I don't think Brennan Johnson has done anywhere near enough to deserve a starting place tonight. Bring him on in second half when maybe players are getting a little bit tired, but he just doesn't do enough for the whole match. And I think it's a shame to say that, but he's just not consistent enough over 90 minutes. So to me, Kulu starts on the right, Bentancur and Bissouma in the middle, just to give us that bit of stability, and then get some creativity with Bergvall. I think he did enough at the weekend. He's kind of showing a little bit more stability in the team. Yeah, you know, he's had a couple of bad games, but he's a young lad and he's got the talent. So let him go in there. And tonight would be another great learning curve for him. So that's my midfield 3, is Bissouma, Bentancur and Bergvall with Kulu on the right.
I'm not Johnson's biggest fan, so there is merit to that. And I like Soren's idea of that. It's just I do lean towards with Dave. It's like, does Ange actually do that? That'd be a bold call, because then that kind of does show maybe that he is starting to lack that belief in Johnson to a degree, that he wouldn't, trust him to play in a game like this. He is very good as an impact sub, as we know. He's good to bring on later in games than he is to start games. But with how threadbare the team is right now, if he doesn't start Johnson, that would be a surprise, because the fact that it's usually just been between Maddison or Johnson. That's usually his main decision. But now that Maddison and Sarr are out, you would think automatically that Johnson comes in. But there is still a scenario where you could leave Johnson on the bench. I never thought about it that way.
Some of our biggest wins this season have come with Johnson off the bench.
Yeah. To me, you bring, Johnson. Look, I said a bit ago that he would probably be our top scorer, and the way it's going, he's not far. He's going to be. But
I just think tonight is a night where you play stronger players. You've got to put those players in there that are going to give a little bit more fight, and Johnson just doesn't give enough fight.
I know what you mean.
I agree.
You've got Bissouma in there who's not afraid to put a tackle in there. You've got Bentancur who's not afraid to put a tackle in there. Bergvall, he'll tackle, he'll play the ball, and Kulu will just run all night. So to me, you've got to really make. We can't lose the game in the first half, basically. So we've got to be strong in there. And to me, Johnson just doesn't do enough work. He's too slack. Bring him on in the second half, and maybe he'll get us a goal that we need. But he doesn't start for me.
Do you know what? And I think that's a fair point to make. When you talk about the fight, that is one thing I've criticised Johnson a lot this season, is he doesn't show that sort of fight on the pitch for me. And maybe that might be taken into consideration by Ange Postecoglou. But then, Dermot, onto that, is a midfield of Bergvall, Bissouma and Bentancur really good enough to go and compete with that Liverpool midfield? Because that's a good midfield. It's a smooth operation in there. They do both sides of the game very, very well.
Look, if you give McAllister and co room in that midfield, they will run you into the ground. They will open you like Moses opened the Red Sea. I mean, that's how good that midfield is. But look, on our midfield, I wouldn't look. I toyed with this a lot last night when I did my predicted lineup, and I had 3 or 4 different teams because I just couldn't make my mind up. Look, I don't want Bissouma playing tonight. I don't think Bissouma should go. I think Bissouma hasn't been the player we thought he was. I think he hasn't been the player since last season, since he took that stupid dive. He's never been and then you had all what he did before the start of the season, and he's, I'm going to come back a better player. You can see the true me. How many times have you heard that from Bissouma? I know, Jack, you've said that a few times. That you've mentioned that in a few of your shows, that you're getting sick of hearing that. And I think you as well, Dave, That, and so am I, to be fair, getting sick of hearing it. I think Bentancur is our Uruguayan general in that midfield. He's the one that gives you a bit of steel. He's the one that gives you a little bit of confidence that if you need a bit of a little bit of somebody to start something, he will start it. I think you do him. I think you do Kula in the midfield, and you play Bergvall in the number 10. I think that's what you do. Now, we played Kula on the right against Man City, and Johnson on the bench, and we absolutely murdered Man City that day. So could Ange do the same again? Bissouma did have a good game, mind you, in that Man City game. He got booked very early, but was very disciplined for the rest of that
Maybe
match.
that's the key, Dermo. Maybe he needs an early booking tonight.
Maybe it is, but I can't I love Johnson. Don't get me wrong. I really do love Johnson. I do think there is a player in there. I do. I really believe that. And I get criticized for it. And I know I try to protect him sometimes by saying he needs to be dropped for his own good, for his own protection. But there is a player there. There is, and I just wish he would come out. It's a bit like a caterpillar at the moment. You want him to go into his cocoon and come out to be this butterfly and come out and show us all wrong, show us I am a better player than you all think I am. But I think tonight you go with Kula on the wing, you go with Bentancur, you go with Bissouma in the midfield, and you go with Bergvall in the number 10. And I think that's the only way you can do. You can't drop Sonny because Sonny works well with Sonny works well with Spence, and Kulu works well with Porro. That is your defensive unit because they will defend. They will drop back and defend for you, and that's what we need tonight. And you need Bentancur in there to toughen it up and try to not let that Liverpool midfield, which is the best midfield in Europe, by the way, to overrun you. If they do, it'd be like Moses said before, it'd be like Moses opening up the Red Sea. That's what's going to happen tonight.
Do you know what? That's why I think it's very important that Postecoglou goes with a double pivot to protect that back four, but also help out Spence and Porro with the double pivot, getting out there to help them out and double up, or even cover them if they're going forward. I think it's very important. I'm just not sure about Bergvall as the chief creator in that number 10 role. It's something we haven't seen. When he plays in that deeper role. And don't get me wrong, he's very good at moving possession very quickly. That's his best attribute, you know. He gets the ball, he already knows where he's moving it to. But I'm not sure about him in that number 10 role. If we're going with that midfield tree, for me, it's going out there to compete, but I don't understand where maybe the creativity is going to come from. And I think that begs the question then on to you, Jack. The two boys have said they would prefer Kulusevski out on the right wing. Look, he's been our best player this season, our most creative player. You know, he's bagged a hat full of goals this season as well. Where do you think he's going to be most effective for tonight's game? Because realistically, we've got to play him where he's going to be have most effect on this game, because he is the guy that carries that ball forward. He is the guy that releases that ball into the forward line. So, Jack, where do you think we're going to get the best out of Kulusevski?
I think he is better through the midfield. I understand Soren's argument. I actually agree with the main point of Soren's argument that in a game like this one, is it one where you do want every person that's on that pitch to start the game in the right sort of tone physically, right? Where they're tracking back, helping each other out, getting stuck in for each other, making unselfish runs off of the ball, you know, to stretch the pitch, to be open for each other, that sort of thing. And there are guys that maybe in this team, like Timo Werner, a Johnson, guys like that don't necessarily do that, right? They might kind of think a bit more for themselves, you know, in moments like that. You want people that are willing to put in that fight, especially set the tone in that first half. And I could agree with then, you know, trying to get someone like a Bergvall into the team who has more of a chance of being a part of that physical team that you're trying to build for that side. But Dave, to answer the question, I think Kulusevski is more effective through the middle, and he probably would be able to get more out of this team as kind of the main driving force, you know, creatively, physically. He's going to get stuck in for us high up the pitch. He's going to try to probably link play with Solanke. He can drift, you know, out wide to help out Johnson, be that sort of guy that he can play off of. I think you get more out of Kulusevski when he does play through the middle. He probably also as well just prefers to play through the middle because, you know, he's a guy that's just sort of battering rams himself kind of through the midfield. You know, he'll take it past 1-2 guys. And if you give him that space, you know, centrally to do that, I think you get more out of it than when he's out wide. When he's out wide, it's kind of hard for him to do that sort of battering ram type style. He can only do it so often, you know, when there's that chance for it. And you just need to play him through the middle then, Dave, to answer your specific question. But I kind of agree with what Soren is saying. You know, when you want guys to sort of set the tone as an ethos or whatever, you know, for the first half, you want every player to be, you know, there physically for it. And Johnson, you would say, isn't one of those guys. Timo Werner isn't one of those guys. And there may be a couple others that you would say aren't those guys.
No, 100%. Look, I completely understand it. I just think with Kulu, I think you've got to play him through the middle. Not only does he give you the defensive side of the game, mucks in, he's a big boy. But, you know, is there any more dangerous sight than seeing him pick up the ball and marauding through the middle like a racehorse? He's nearly impossible to take off. Do you get that out wide as much? I think you sort of limit his options. And I think, you know, when Kulu does get the ball through the middle, he's the only one that seems to be able to link up with Johnson. He's the only one that seems to be able to feed Brennan Johnson through a lot of the times. Look, I do take the point. Johnson, you know, he's not always up for the fight. You know, sometimes when he's not up for the fight, especially when the ball's going that way, you're sort of playing with 10 men to a large degree. But for me, that's where you just got to put a rocket up his hole and say, if you don't do it, I will take you off half-time and bring Mikey Moore on, who is in the squad, by the way. I've seen the stuff on Twitter. He's in the squad. He's at the stadium. He will be on the bench tonight. Very, very interesting. And then, guys, I do want to just have a quick conversation about Kulu, or no, about Bentancur. Bentancur, of course, we're expecting to make his return after being suspended against Newcastle. How crucial is Bentancur's presence in the midfield for Tottenham? And do we think that his presence will prevent this game being such an open, high-scoring game like we've seen in that 6-3? Because when I look back at that 6-3 game, and games in general, and he doesn't play, I think he's sorely missed. You know, we don't have that guy that can get on the ball, slow it down, quicken it up when it needs to. I think defensively, he's a lot more tuned in than any other option we have there as well. And I just don't think we seem as exposed, you know, when he plays in there. And I don't know whether other people feel the same as me. You know, is he our best midfielder? Is he the most important midfielder in this team?
I think with Bentancur, he's one of those that he just seems to calm things down a little bit. I mean, you watch him some games and you think he's missing. You know, he has a poor game every now and again, but he's far more consistent, and he just seems to be that person in there that just calms it down a little bit. You know, Bissouma, look, he owes us big time. He owes us a lot of good performances. And when he's on form, he's brilliant, but he's just not on form enough. But I still think today it's a question of that midfield has got to be solid, and that's why for me you play, like I say, Bissouma, Bentancur, and Kulu, because that gives you 3 solid players all on the pitch at once. Bergvall is just that extra one. I just think Bentancur will come in. He'll be all over the pitch, and it just keeps that midfield solid. I mean, we don't want a 6-3, whether it's 6-3 to us or 6-3 to them. We need something like a 3-1 or a 3-0. It just has to be a little bit more solid and a little bit more compact in that midfield.
And look, for me, sorry, Dave. Sorry,
okay.
didn't mean, no. Look, for me, but as I said, I call Bentancur a Uruguay in general, because I think that's what he does in the midfield. He sort of drags everyone along with him. If you see him playing for Uruguay, he does play a lot deeper than he does play for Tottenham. He plays more nearer off the centre backs. He plays in front of that back 4. So he can play in any positions in that midfield. He reminds me a little bit of an early Steve Perryman in that way, where Steve Perryman was told, Bill Nick told Steve Perryman when he was young, don't run after the ball, just do it simple. And that's what Bentancur does. He slows the game down. He's that good. He can slow the game down and pick out a simple pass, which is what football's all about. You slow it down, you make it simple. And he does that. And how many times has he come on? Leeds, do you remember when we beat Leeds 4-3 back before the World Cup a couple of seasons ago? Saved us that day. We missed him when he got suspended. We missed him when he was injured. Bentancur, for me, is a far more complete midfielder than Bissouma will ever be. Bissouma owes us, as Soren rightly says, but I want Bissouma gone now. He was thought this best thing we bought from Brighton is just he hasn't lived up to what we thought he was. Bentancur is the man for now. Bergvall's the man for the future. And Papa Sarr is like a little gazelle because he runs around that pitch. Him and Bentancur together do more unselfish work in that midfield than a lot of people give him credit for. And I think Bissouma needs to go.
Well, look, I think there's a big question around Bissouma come this summer. What we're going to do with him. Of course, I think you've got to bring in someone that's obviously a better option than him before you let him go. But look, let's wait and see what happens. But I do hope with Bentancur in that midfield tonight, it gives us a bit more of a foothold in terms of possession and a lot more opportunities playing out from the back, but also a little bit more solidity defensively as well would be the aim. What I would say is today, the two midfielders who do play in that double pivot today, be alert. When I went back and watched the Liverpool game, a lot of their crosses, it was very clever what they done. They went down wide, and what they've done is just overload the edge of the box with a few players sitting there, pop the back, watch them cross it in all game long. They've got to be assertive tonight. They've got to go and engage that ball, and they've got to cut that out. They've got to realize the danger that they pose from them situations. So they've got to get after it today. Just bear with me, guys. I do want to do one thing before we get into the lineups. Adrian Chia, good to see you. He says, we do okay, so as long as we are clinical and not be wasteful. No, look, 100%. And that's my biggest bugbear with this team. I think Postecoglou ball could really work if we had much better forwards, much more clinical forwards. On our day against teams that leave themselves exposed or play a higher line and don't sit in, we'll beat them all day long. But the reality is most teams you face on a week-in, week-out basis don't do that. And that's where the consistency comes in. We don't have players with the right attributes. And not even that, just all-round solid players that can adapt to them situations. It's near impossible with Brennan Johnson one side, Werner the other side and stuff. It's near impossible to break teams down like that. So we do have to sort of change that. And look, hopefully today, even if they do play, you're hoping they can just be clinical. They have a touch of the God. Hopefully Werner's picked off new boots. Hopefully they do him good today. Brennan Johnson, the same thing. Let's wait and see. But big up, Adrian Chia. Good to see you in the house.
Good to see you, man.
You're keeping well.
Write us a good script, please.
Well. He loves a good script, Adrian Chia. Big up, my man. And guys, I do want to take this opportunity, just one memento, and then we will get into the, hopefully the lineups will be out when we will get into it. But I want to take this moment to plug NordVPN, the best VPN across the world. And quite frankly, if you don't have a VPN, I feel like you're outdated. Most people now, they just pay for the subscriptions in a bare face. But the reality is you don't get every game. You get a NordVPN, you bounce your location around the world, you get better packages for you, and you get to watch the game. You can even watch all the big boxing events, UFC events and stuff like that you don't get with your normal subscriptions with your NordVPN. It just gives you so much more access to what's actually available out there on offer for you. And I don't think many people realize what is out there if you go searching. And the reason why you need the VPN is because it helps you bounce your location nice and securely. Not only that, you put your bank details in, you buy things. It also is nice and secure there with NordVPN. It's also the fastest VPN in the world, so why would you get any other one than that? And also, they have a thing in there that stops the buffering, which is absolutely crucial, guys, because no one likes watching these games and things are buffering. You see a circle and shit like that, so NordVPN cuts that out for you guys. And the best thing is, most NordVPNs is just one for one device. You can have one for up to 10 devices. And I know you don't own 10 devices, which basically I mean it's for the family. So everyone can hop on it. Everyone can watch what they want. So guys, get with the times, get with the days, and get your NordVPN. This could be one of the last times it could be on offer for you guys. So make sure you click on the link that's pinned in the comment section or in the description below this podcast. Get over there and find what best package suits you. Jack, anything else you want to add?
No, Dave, you're right. This could be one of the last times that, this is available to you guys, this deal. So please take advantage of it. Everyone needs a VPN at this point. You need it to protect your data, protect your bank details. You go on public Wi-Fi, that sort of thing. You never know. You do put yourself at risk. But then also when you're traveling, you probably want to have a bit of, your Netflix, HBO, that sort of thing saved. And if you have a VPN, you don't have to worry about it. And then last thing, makes your Spurs life a lot easier. Just be able to save money on watching Spurs games, be able to, save money on TV packages. Or if, again, you're traveling and just want to guarantee that you're able to watch the Spurs game the same way that you always do, get yourself a VPN, put yourself back to where you're originally from, and you can watch the game no problem and protect yourself. You just need one nowadays. So I'd say get one from us. Get the VPN deal that we have from NordVPN, 2-year deal, get 4 months free. Please do so. Would really help us out a ton. Thank
you even got people here, Jack, asking NordVPN to renew the sponsorship. So, let's wait and see, guys. Let's wait and see. But make sure you get over there and check it out. Big up, DB. Appreciate the support, brother. I'm not sure if the lineups are out. I think
Is it one of those where it's like the
Carabao Cup
Premier
stuff
League
is
is like an hour 15, maybe, you know,
It'll
the
be an
League
hour
Cup is
before
about an
kickoff.
hour. Yeah.
So we have to waste another 10 minutes talking about shite until they come out, basically. Well, what I do want to talk about actually is Son. Look, like I mentioned earlier on, right? United put 60% of their attacks down Trent Alexander-Arnold's side, and they ended up getting joy. They ended up getting a result against Man United. Guys, Son hasn't been in the best form this season, but we've been showing a way where we can get at Liverpool tonight. How important is it that Son steps up? He's off the back of his contract renewal. And look, quite frank, this is why David Ginola is still remembered to this day, stepping up in games like this, Gascoigne, Ricky Villa. How important is it for Son to step up in a game like this and sort of drag Spurs over the line like some of the other greats have done in years gone by? And do you believe he still has it in him? Because a lot of people think he doesn't possess that ability anymore. Sorry, you're shaking your head and smirking. So, or Dermo. But you know what, Dermo, I haven't gone to you first today, so you can go first, and then we'll pass it to Soren.
How dare anyone criticise Captain Fantastic, Captain Sonny? How dare you? How dare that man's given his life and blood to our club. And least we can do is give him a little bit of silverware just to say thank you. Sonny's helped. It was actually Tequila said it to me last night. We were talking about this, and he said basically Sonny plays for free for the amount of money he brings in from the South Korean market, and many fans that come over and buy stuff in the club shop and all that. It's, for me, Sonny on the pitch has been an absolute legend. He is a Spurs legend, and he's so humble. He doesn't want to be considered to call himself a legend before he wins something. That shows the marker of the man. That shows the marker. That man has got us out of how many holes over the last 10 years? How many times have Sonny got us out of a hole? That goal against Burnley when he ran the whole length of the pitch. I mean, that's just sums up Sonny. And tonight, that will give him confidence tonight. I think it will give him confidence. These games, big players step up. Sonny's a big match player. He'd be there tonight, galvanising the squad, doing the captain. And I think he's a far better captain than people give him credit for, to be fair. And he's not scared of bollocking the players. He's not scared of giving the players a telling off either. But for me, Sonny will step up tonight. Sonny will help us get to the final, and he will be lifting that bit of silverware. And I'm fully confident in that. But how dare anyone criticise Sonny? Because that man is a legend. He's generally one of the nicest people in football. And if anyone deserves a trophy, it's Sonny. And he will step up tonight because he's Captain Fantastic. He's our captain. He's our Sonny. Let's show him what Tottenham can do.
Just before we move on to Soren, though, Darmo, is the criticism of Son this season not fair?
Look, I feel, look, I think some of it's fair. And I think even he would take it upon himself that it's fair. And I think when you've seen when we've lost against Palace and Ipswich, he's genuinely been deeply hurt by it. He's like one of the fans. He knows what it means. This club means everything to him. He knows what the club means to us. I think he's one of the few players, I think, since Poch left that you can say he's one of our own. He really is. I know he's not one of our own, but you do know what I'm getting at. But I think, yeah, it's been fair, but I think there's been other circumstances. Maybe this contract's been playing on his mind. Maybe he's been playing with some sort of injury that he's had to play again. And don't forget, he is in his early 30s. He's lost a bit of pace. So maybe he has to adapt his game to what he's used to. And some players do take time to adapt. And maybe that's the problem with Sonny. He's had to adapt. So where I think some of it is fair, I think some of it's been unfair. And I think a legend doesn't just stop being a legend overnight. Do you know, they adapt, they change. And I think you look at Harry Kane, he's in his 30s and he's adapted and changed his game. All great players adapt and change. And I think Sonny will adapt and change. And I think we haven't seen the best yet.
I just wonder, does some of the anger around Son's performances come from because people are expecting too much of him? They built him up to beat up, and they said he was going to carry this club forward, like without Harry Kane and stuff like that. And I just wonder, have they been let down? And that's maybe where the anger comes from, because he wasn't the player that they thought he was, you know, in terms of carrying that burden going forward. But Soren, you've been shaking your head. What's your thoughts?
No, I mean, I think Dermo's just absolutely nailed everything on the head there. how anybody can question Son in our team is beyond me. Look, he hasn't had a great season, but maybe that's the system. Maybe we're just expecting too much. But let's go back. Without Son, Kane might not have scored half the goals he scored.
Agreed.
And in any other team, if Sonny was playing down the middle, he'd have scored twice as many goals as he has scored so far for us. He is an absolute legend for this team. And to me, I think it's criminal it's taken this long to extend his contract. He should have had a bigger contract. He should be by far and way above anybody else on earnings at our club. And we should have given him a 2-year contract, never mind just an extension for 1 year, or it should be a rolling contract. But to me, that guy needs to see his career out at this club. And it might be sentimental. I don't give a shit anymore. That guy does not leave our club. He is Tottenham through and through. And the two things that I feel sorry for Son is, one, he is not a homegrown player through our academy, because I would love to be able to sing he's one of our own, because he is one of our own. He is Tottenham through and through. And if you cut him open, he would bleed lily white. His blood isn't red. It is lily white. And I just hope that this cup has got his name on it. I really hope this cup has got his name on it, because he deserves nothing less. And I mean, I've heard people saying that he's a loser because he's still at Tottenham and he's never going to win anything. But that guy is far from a loser. And where we go on about building statues for players and players in the past, you know, if he doesn't get a statue built, then that is Levy's biggest crime.
Do you know what? I just on the whole Son sort of, you know, criticism, I think people are probably judging it wrong. First of all, you know, I never expected him to be that player to carry Tottenham on his back since Kane. You know, I always knew he was going to need quality players in and around here. And this is where I don't think the club have helped him. He's working with relegation fodder. First of all, they ain't on his level technically, and they're certainly not on his level in terms of speed of thought, you know, and how Son sees the game. So I think he's finding it very difficult. And I think he's paying the price for us not using the money, the Kane money, the way we should have. And I think that's where you're not seeing Son have that impact, because Son's only as good as a player he can link up. He can't do everything on his own going forward. Going forward, you have to be able to link up with others. And I just don't think you've got the right players for him to be able to do that. But saying that, you know, I think he's a modern day legend. But if he wants to go down in Tottenham folklore and really be remembered beyond, you know, the modern day, what he's done for Tottenham Hotspur, I think he's got to step up in a game like this. You know, like he did on the Champions League run, step up with big, important goals to see us over the line. And lastly, this whole comment that, oh, he's a loser because he's still at Tottenham Hotspur. I'm sorry. Do you want to watch good players at Tottenham, or do you want to watch bang average players? So stop making silly statements like that. You know, the guy's not a loser. He just loves this football club. He absolutely loves it. He obviously realizes what we've done for him and his family, and he wants to repay it. And I think that's a good attribute to have, actually, in modern day football, considering most people now are just looking for the quickest buck. So fair play to him. I have the utmost respect for him. And I think we need to get someone in quick to help this guy out, and someone of a good standard where we can say, son, you know, we're playing town work today. You don't even need to be on the bench. Go and take your family off to the zoo or do something. You know, don't anything else but be here. We don't need you, so that we can keep him fresh for games like this to have the impact, because we are just running the legs off him completely. We're expecting him to play every single game, and it's not fair on the guy. And then it always leads to conversations. Oh, he's in decline. He's in decline. He's in decline. People said the same about Harry Kane. He went and scored 40 out of Bayern Munich, and people were begging for him to come back. So I don't want to hear it when it comes to Son in that regard. Jack, where are you at, my man? I'm just trying to piss away time until the lineups come out. They should be out.
2 minutes away. I actually am still fixated on what you said in the predicted lineup, Dave. I really liked what you said about, you know, like Sonny is still in my books certified legend, unquestionable, undoubted. But you will say that there are a lot of guys that live in sort of whatever you call it, you know, sort of the legacies. They live in the stories. They live in the history just by showing up in one particular big moment in one big game. Like you said, the Ricky Villas of the world, you know, and even to a degree, this is a better example. Someone like a Lucas, right? Someone who probably never really lived up actually to the potential, never really lived up to what he was supposed to be, scored a hat trick in an absurd, game. And like, not saying Sonny needs to do that or anything, but he, could do something similar where he just shows up in one of our bigger games in years, just puts in a masterclass performance, gets us over the line. And then people will sort of then etch him into more of that unquestionable, kind of folklore or whatever you call it for Spurs legends. But for people like myself, younger generation, especially, I mean, Sonny's probably second or third, like I said, best player I've ever seen in a Spurs shirt, and probably will be. I don't think there will be many better players that I'll ever see other than Son. For me, it's Gareth Bale, Kane, Modric, Son. Those are kind of the best front three players I've ever seen at this club. So, he's unquestionable legend. But I agree with your little point that you made the predicted lineup, Dave. I thought that was an absolute brilliant point.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
You put Son in a Real Madrid team or a Bayern Munich or somebody like that, and he'd be a god. He'd be an absolute god. So just because he plays for Tottenham, and the sacrilege is that we haven't won a trophy with him. Had we won that Champions League final, had we won a couple more Carabao Cups, had we won an FA Cup, he'd be there wouldn't be a question about how good he is. But because the team and the club have let him down, then we do question it. But the guy is an absolute legend. He is full stop.
Can I just say one quick? Sorry, can I just say one quick thing? I think Sonny fits into any legend Tottenham 60s, 70s, early 80s. Any of our successful sides, Sonny walks straight into any of them teams. Under Bill Nick, under Keith Bergvall, that's what a legend. He walks into them teams. He's our modern version of Glenn Hoddle when he was before, age got up them. But that's for me.
Not our modern version. They're two different players, two different positions.
Well, not really. Glenn Hoddle had he's okay. Then maybe he's our version of probably Tony Galvin or somebody like that running down the wing,
more like
Chris Waddle running down the wing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe Glenn Hoddle's probably the wrong one, but that's just my opinion. He walks into any team over the decades. So
fair.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry.
No, fair point. Just quickly, guys, I want to honor Thomas here. He sent in a super sticker. Really appreciate the support, my man. All the way in from, I presume that's Norway. So really appreciate the support, buddy. What's he saying, Jacko?
It's saying like get good, I think is
maybe celebrating the lineup. Maybe he got there before us, or maybe he's enjoying the show. But really appreciate
Thank you, Thomas.
And do you know what? Really appreciate your support. I see you often saying you really like the content and that. So really appreciate it, Thomas. Absolutely.
Norwegian crowd is, the Norwegian Spurs crew. I wonder, Dave, as much as we'll have a big crew of Irish people for the Crystal Palace game, imagine if the Norwegian, Spurs, fan clubs, they must be absolutely packed. So many Norwegian fans.
They're producing a lot of talent. I think Scandinavia is the next hotbed talent.
Yeah.
So we need to get out there. And by the way, Thomas, I remember I was sitting there at Dermo Ireland against Norway. Good friendly that, actually. Good to see you, Thomas. Really appreciate support. And then Adrian Gia, fan expects Son to get onto the end of his own pass and score. 100%. 100%, it's absolutely madness. It's absolutely madness. Look, don't get me wrong. Of course, there's been games where he's been off his levels. Does he look as sharp as he used to taking on a guy? No. But I genuinely believe a lot of that is down to fatigue, to be honest with you. But big up, Adrian. Completely agree with that, my man. Absolute legend. But guys, the lineup is out. Let's go through it. Wow, the big debate we had. Kinsky takes the number one spot. He starts in goals. Pedro Porro right back with Dragsson and great centre back. Spence at left back to be expected. Bissouma, Bentancur, and he has gone with what Soren said. And Dermo, Bergvall in the midfield with Kulu out on the right, Son off the left, and Solanke through the middle. So look, let's get into Soren. Let's find out what his thoughts are on this starting lineup. First of all, Kinsky's coming in, Soren. But for a nice trade-off, he has given you what you want for the rest of the team. So what's your thoughts on the lineup? How are you feeling heading into the game, and what's your score prediction?
I mean, I said if Kinsky starts, then fair enough. I just felt that Austin deserved to start, but it wasn't. Oh my God, Kinsky starting. It's like, it's one or the other. So midfield, exactly what I thought it would be or hoped it would be. Look, we're going to win, and I think it's going to be fairly tight. and it's either going to be 3-2, 2-1, 3-1. You know, it's going to be something like that. I'm not going to give an exact score, but I think it will be tight. But I do think Spurs are coming out on top.
Love that.
Son's going to score. Solanke's going to score. Kula's going to score. Bergvall's going to score. Bissouma's going to come through with a header. So there's score. Bentancur's probably going to hit the post, and Gray's going to get his first as well. So actually, we're going with a 5-1.
Love it. I love it. Look, it's you know, we're what, less than an hour from kickoff. So I absolutely love that, Soren. Big yourself up. And man, I don't think people out there realize, but this guy is up at like 3 a.m. in the morning, out there working, producing food for the nation, and then gets back here and does the Spurs content as well. So really appreciate your efforts and your time, Soren. Let's hopefully you get the reward with a good semi-final victory today. And then Faz Radfar saying, no, Soren, you got it wrong. 4-1 Spurs. Big up, Faz Radfar, my man. Good to see you in the building. Jack, I forgot to ask you to read out the bench, my man. So we'll let you read out the bench, and then you can answer Darkstone G here, and then we'll go in and get Dermo's thoughts, and we'll save ours for the watch along.
It's a real eye vision test, you know, to see the bench here. Brandon Austin, Dorrington, Reguilon make the bench. Those are the defenders he has to pick from. Olasesi and Mikey Moore and Heung-min Hook make the bench. That's exciting to see, Mikey Moore and Heung-min Hook. And then we have Johnson, Werner, and then Lancashire. So still plenty of young players he has to pick from, Ange Postecoglou. But there's your bench, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder is there going to be any babysitters or crash sitters, you know, sitting there with them on the bench. You look at Dorrington, you know, you look at Mikey Moore, Olasesi, you know,
Heung-min Hook is what, 18 or 19, right? Or something? It's crazy.
Probably need a few minders on the bench, to be honest with you. But look, it is what it is. But to Dark Sun G's point, Jack, can't believe Mignoc is on the bench today. Come on, you Spurs. Just quickly, do you think he's going to get minutes today? Think you see him off the bench at any point?
I actually think it's pretty sick that he's on the bench already, right? He's only just come to the country so long ago. He's only just basically learned the names of, you know, his teammates so long ago. The fact that he has made the bench, I think, is pretty positive signs, you know, by the looks of things. It's
is it positive or is it because of the injury crisis?
Could be injury. I'm going to look at it in a happy clapping way. Fair. I just think it is positive. You know, I think he could have probably given that to maybe another, you know, young player or something like that. Maybe it is injury crisis related. I just think he's on the bench, and hopefully he gets an opportunity maybe ahead of Johnson, and we see what he's all about. He would be like what we were supposed to get with Odegaard, right? A guy that wants to run at his fullback, a guy that wants to take players on, and that's what we've been lacking for a long time now. So I'd be excited to see him come on. I think it's sick that he's on the bench.
Do you know, I had to laugh yesterday. I was watching a video of him and Son training together, and he's just doing exactly what Son's doing, copying him. It's hilarious. And you can tell he's absolutely in awe. Like, you know, Son's doing his exercise, and he's looking at how he's doing it, and then he does. It's just brilliant. It is. Like, I was sitting there thinking, I was like a 17-year-old sitting there with your country's biggest superstar to learn off. Like, you know, that's a dream come true.
It'd be like me taking like shooting lessons from like LeBron James or something like that. I just don't even know if I can handle that sort of thing. I'd be too much in awe. It
was hilarious to see how in awe he was. He was just staring at him, copying exactly what he was doing. It was brilliant. And then he also says, Dark Sun G says, we will see less goals hopefully with Kinsky in goal. I mean, Dermot, that's the hope, right? He's making his debut today. And then just quickly at Dark Sun G, look, that's the hope. It's a baptism of fire. We haven't seen him before. Let's see how he gets on. But I presume he's been put in there because they've probably been impressed with what they've seen of him in terms of training, in terms of his shot stopping and his distribution. But big up Dark Sun G. Dermo, let's get your quick thoughts on the lineup and your score prediction, my man, and we'll end off and let you go and get your stuff done.
Yeah, look, great lineup. I'm so excited about the youngster on the back. And I watched the same thing as you, Dave. It was really hilariously funny. It was like a little kid, like watching his look. He was in awe of him.
Almost.
It was, and it was like I noticed, like Son's so protective of him, like he's over to him and giving him advice. I'll fair play to him. Yeah, well, we got the midfield right. I got the goalkeeper right. That is actually my predicted lineup that I sort of picked. But it's a team that we're going to win. That's a team that can go out tonight, win us the semi-final, take us to Wembley, lift the League Cup. We're going to Wembley, lads. Forget Liverpool. Who are Liverpool? They are nothing compared to the mighty Tottenham Hotspur. So all I will ask Tottenham to do is make sure there's plenty of protection for the wheels on the bus, because them Liverpool fans will be taking some of the wheels off the van tonight as a momentum of a night of misery, because we're going to beat them and we're going to beat them well. And Spurs are on the way to Wembley. Come on, you Tottenham. I'm going for a 4-0 win. I'm not even going to give them a goal because I'm stingy like that. And you wouldn't expect anything less from me. So I'm going for 4-0. And if you like what I have to say, you like Delusional Tron, do come over to HFC till I die. A lot of good lads over there. There's me, there's Colin, there's Kilo's now coming back as well. Carl, we're going to get him on as well, Carl Simpson. And where we just talk Tottenham. That's all we talk about is Spurs. We talk about the team we love. We have different opinions, all of us over there. Tequila's more Levy out than I am, so we have good debates. And we do have a little bit of a surprise. Mr. Box Office coming on to the show on Saturday. It's Delusional Tron against Mr. Box Office. So get over there while I teach him a lesson.
Just quickly,
I'm showing who's boss.
On Saturday, Dermo?
Pardon?
What time is he on Saturday?
8 o'clock.
I'll make sure I'm out for dinner. No, I love Box Office. I do love him, but he winds me up. No, but guys, please do get over. Check out Dermot's channel, guys. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. That'd be funny, actually, watching you, because you're complete opposite ends of the scale. That'd be brilliant, actually. And then, look, we take this from Dark Song Gene. Guys, we're going to end off so that we can get back here and get the watch-along kicked off on time, because everyone's excited. It's a big, big night tonight. Dark Song G says Yang will be better than Werner. I mean, look, first of all, that's not tough, Dark Song G. Werner is absolutely useless. All Yang has to do is be able to show that he can cross the ball and finish the ball. And already, I think many people say he's better than Timo Werner. He says Liverpool starting Jota, which is scary. Also, the defense of Bradley, Virgil van Dijk, Kwanzaa, Samiskas. Hopefully, we scored early. But you know what? That gives me an absolute stiffy. That's music to my ears. That means that's a back line we can try and get at tonight. And hopefully it has the opposite effect with them playing out from the back as well. So Dark Song G, you've made a man's evening. Look, big night tonight. Let's see how we get on. I want to say a massive thank you to Soren and Dermot for giving up their time today. I really do appreciate it, guys. All of you guys at home, insane views, up to 600 people watching live. Absolutely incredible. Really appreciate it. And then the people that have gone the extra mile, Artist T, DJ Samuel, Faz Radfar, Brian Dempsey, Dermatron, Peter Kagayas, Adrian Chia, Thomas, and also Dark Song G. Guys, really appreciate the support today. But it does not stop here. We'll be back here in half an hour for the watch along. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
We never stop. See you soon.
See you soon, everybody. Come on, you Spurs.